Not quite the Holy Trinity. Not quite.
I mean, Breeze, Icebox getting banned first. Makes sense. No one wants the opponents to play their strongest maps. So, yeah, this is pretty much expected, but I'm very happy to see Bind. I don't know about you guys, but I love watching professional Bind because the map...
Me too.
Absolutely.
I'm with you.
It's very creative map, and there's still a lot to be discovered about it. That's my opinion.
Okay, I give you that opinion. You know, Bind is interesting in that sense that we have only seen it one time throughout this entire stage from Guild, right? It is the FNATIC pick, that is very obvious. It was an overtime scenario where Guild was 14-12 with a very, very solid attacking side and one of the, let's say, worst performances on defense. You know, usually really good on retakes versus BBL. They had really bad retakes, to say it like that. So it really leaves me with the question, is it going to be really such a pop-off start from the side of FNATIC, or is there something that, you know, comes fresh from the laboratory of the Guild side?
Haven is one of those maps that I also agree with Sessions.
Yeah.
Like for FNATIC, it doesn't really feel that strong when you compare it to the other maps.
Sure.
And at the same time, when you think about Guild, I always have Haven in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Since day one.
Even back in the day,
probably because of Draken and the Oro. But
any opportunity. Any opportunity. I think it is a smart pick. I think both teams have gone for the smart picks if they can't play Breeze and Icebox. Speaking of smart picks, I want to see what you guys thought at home on the Twitter vote. What did you guys go? Oh wow. Okay. Is this the biggest swing we've ever seen? I feel like.
I think that's not fair. So. I think that is not entirely fair.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's more of a 50-50 than this ridiculous amount.
I would lean towards like 65-35.
Oh, okay.
Really that much?
Yeah, I think FNATIC is leagues above everyone else right now in the EMEA.
Yeah.
So I would definitely give more to FNATIC.
Before we get into Agent Select, I just want to say that Bea chose no chamber on a map, and I think she might already have won a point. Because I don't expect to see a chamber.
And Leo's going to make 10 silver kills in that, you know, so what's about to happen? Yeah, but compositionally speaking, I don't expect a big change, at least from the FNATIC side. It would be very much surprising me if Russ is instantly sticking to what he has. Yep, he does. He picks up back to Sky.
Oh my god!
Oh, but...
Hey! There he goes.
There's Fate!
Yeah, there's Fate as well, and they're picking up that. This is a really interesting change.
What is happening?
Okay.
So Leo previously...
Oh, I love it.
Leo previously was playing the KO, so they swapped that one out. Koldamenta sticks to what he does, but most importantly, there's not going to be a double controller setup. They used to have the Viper in the setup, but Safe is now playing the Chamber.
Well, I would say one thing. From one side, Guild changed their composition to be more synergetic with the Fade and the Raze, and with Koldamenta and Brimstone as well, because that ties it up together. But then the Chamber is like it's just standing out of like a sore thumb. You know, it's like it doesn't fit. It doesn't have the synergy. It's just straight up firepower, and that's it. While on the other side, FNATIC has the same kind of puzzles, but the Viper slides in as the additional synergy part.
Amazing synergy, really.
Yeah, and the FNATIC, I know we don't have time, but the FNATIC composition could be like I can talk about 15 minutes just about how we can play Fade with the rest of the agents there.
Well, we're going to have a telestrator from you, I'm sure, in the post-snap. I look forward to that. Thank you very much, you guys. We mentioned Tom and Mitch earlier in our bingo card, and it's time for me to toss it over for them to take us through map 1.
Thank you so much, Yinsu and the Analyst Desk. Well, Tom, we've certainly seen an excited Analyst Desk after that veto. I want to hear what your feelings are about this Agent Select before we dive on in.
I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think just looking at the fact that Safe's looking to play a little bit more aggressive, get that a little bit more cheeky than some of the more passive holds we need for him. I think they're looking to almost challenge FNATIC on a map they've been strong on for a very long time. So let's kick this one off and see what they're going to do with it.
Well, the Analyst Desk said they love a bit of professional bind, Tom, and it's time to get on into that with the attack side for Guild. What's on your bingo card getting on into this one?
Oh, what's on my bit? My one's a secret, remember? So I've got to keep that. I can't get that one away, you know. It would be ruined because I'm trying to get in someone's head with mine. But nonetheless, I think that going into this matchup, like FNATIC have shown that they're strong within bind, but versus teams, I think that Focus, brand new, G2 underwhelming. So I'm still think this is going to be a test for them. Obviously, Icebox being removed. Finally, a team actually decided to do that versus FNATIC. Who could have thought that would be a good idea? But I think it'd be mad to count Guild out of this one completely. But yeah, FNATIC have always loved this map.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think Guild's performance, you know, we've seen them now be tested a little bit and still deliver. So this is a team that I'm starting to respect more and more by the day. We thought maybe their results could be buffed a little bit by the group they were in, but certainly making a name for themselves now, looking to take down FNATIC. But like Lothar said on the desk, and like a lot of people been saying, you know, it just feels like FNATIC are leagues above everybody else that they're playing against right now. Maybe FPX able to just about clip up to their ankles. We'll see if Guild can do the same. I like this play on A. Look, they've dragged so many players towards this side. There's a lot of noise being made, but the rest of the team has ran it back to the B side.
Unfortunately as well for Boaster right now, he doesn't actually have a star in position that he can utilize to slow them down. So I think realistically, the main thing he can hope for is to get a kill and get out of here, because the rest of the team are having to go for a fast rotation. Instantly, though, Russ is going to find the opener, and the site has already fallen.
Yeah, you could see that there was a little bit of a trap play there for them coming out of hookah. Would have slowed them down, but like you said, those stars were not in the right places. They weren't ready to catch the long rotation, and Guild now gaining a lot of space. I mean, they've pushed the players back inside of hookah. It buys them extra time. With that time, they set themselves up in post plants. They're down on long. 2 players coming through the elbow while all this presence is being made. They're also fighting for hookah. I mean, Guild have got all of the map control, or at least they're fighting for all of it. They still need to stop the defuse, though, and it's already halfway. Now they're swinging out, forced into fights, and, well, it looks like FNATIC are doing okay, defusing it all the way right under their noses. Oh, they had it all set up so well, Tom, but it fell apart. The one thing that they needed to stop, they just couldn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah, Alpha are the only one to actually get a kill on his team. He did come out with 4 of them, but I'll be honest, from this point, I was like, well, this is now done. Like, there shouldn't be any way to get back into this. A good retake screen, though, coming out from Alpha here as well, and he just basically blocked off anybody trying to kill the person defusing. Like, fair play. The youngster comes out strong in utility and in aim, and again, shows us why he's one of the top players right now within the entirety of the league.
Yeah, it's just really solid play. FNATIC are content in stacking up the A site, because right from the start of that round, they've got that retake wall down. They've got their stars for hookah, so they've covered a lot of their bases. And even though things don't go their way to start with, they've recovered. And now, well, Guild want to try and get some revenge. They want to force buy it up here, but Tom, for now, it ain't looking too good. They're losing players by the second, down to just 2, and their economy is fully invested into this one. This is a disaster.
Safe needs a kill, and it should be free at least. Spike down in a horrible position, and you basically have to make noise to try and retrieve it, while Boaster has managed to sneak his way past and leave it all on to Safe. Now, the desk spoke about this man being put onto the agent for pure firepower reasons. For anybody who doesn't know, that of course the picture is currently wrong. That is Alfie that you're seeing on your screen, but we'll move on from that. It's like, oh, he looks different today, but no, it's still having to try and find a ridiculous clutch. Couple of bullets left in the Headhunter. Can't really expect much to be done with that. And the thing is, FNATIC are so well drilled and regimented that he's going to have to peek into a crossfire here, or at least it's going to be a free kill and then a swing, and even then, well, it's never free.
No, it never is. And now we're starting to charge up some of those ultimates. I think, though, when you look at FNATIC's side, again, not going to be that scared of Enzo's when you look above him and see they're 1 away from a Viper's Pit and coming into an eco. So this round should be Guild getting rolled over, should be ults online for FNATIC coming into a buy round, and because they've shut down that force buy second round that we just saw, it puts them in a really tough economic position over on Guild. I mean, that round there, you wanted to come out with as much damage as possible purely because, look, FNATIC don't have to invest coming into this one. They'll use the scraps that they have from the previous. We've even got a bookie on Alpha here. He's not even going for the judge. This is a short-term plan to hold down hookah for 1 round.
Well, he was never part of the history of Bucky FC, so he's decided that he wanted to... I like it, yeah. He's commemorating the old boys of the team. Of course, not everyone can be as young as Alpha and as talented, I guess. But hey, unfortunately for Guild, they put themselves in a pretty awkward spot because you're now going to allow the ultimates on the other side to build up. Like, Alpha is 1 away from a Viper's Pit going into what will be a bonus round. Enzo almost has the Nightfall online as well. Like, these are ults that are incredibly high impact and used in the right scenario. And more importantly, you're not going in with a purchase this round. So there's more of a chance to get ults online as well. They've also got the opportunity to maybe upgrade or into a rifle or 2 for the next. So if anything, Guild just need to make this one costly. Otherwise, well, it's going to be the best start possible.
Yeah, exactly. A leg up into the series. And for Guild, I like that they've tried to really run that clock down and find any advantage that they could. But like even that poke towards A hasn't panned out. They have managed to pull back a couple of players, though. Look for a second like they could have had that bookie on a bit of a disadvantageous range, but instead it is right up close and personal. Good stun coming through, slowing them down. Now wall fights are coming on through, and that is making it so much easier for the buggies. Oh wow. Well, not only did they do no damage, Tom, I mean, FNATIC have walked out of that one. They've had a good time as well.
Viper's Pit.
A little chuckle. Bucky Viper's Pit. Don't. You see, he's gonna do it, which is probably the worst part. Grab a ghost as well. Spray through on range. That's just filthy. You see how wild he was playing there as well? Like, he didn't care if he died because he has the bookie, and he still couldn't go down. But now the power round, when we finally see Guild get that full buy up, and the judge has been upgraded to Alpha now a serious threat. He's going to be locking down B long with it. It's got to be a first seen it pop down in that position.
Oh, he's actually upgraded. He's gone from a bucky to a judge. So, you know, slightly different, but definitely as terrifying in terms of what can be done. Early utility being placed to try and clear out onto A. In fact, it looks like it's going to be a fairly pacey take in that. Wild Tracks just got flying over the top. He kills off Boaster as well through the smoke. A ridiculous double entry. And, well, there's nothing Durka can do with the Marshal.
Oh, well, we got the two judges left to lock this one down. I feel like this is going to be Guild's round pretty convincingly. That's a really impressive round out of Trax. I don't know how he was able to get so much control into the back of the site. How he was able to connect the first kill is a mystery, but the correction onto the second, even more ridiculous. One judge spotted in towards Lamps. No one's going to be pushing that position just yet. And really, I think if they manage to get someone to die to the spike, it's probably a win here. You're going to struggle to get anybody to peek except Russ, who has to run back to mid.
Last player standing. Sleep time.
Oh, Mystic. Going to be able to get one. But that is all she wrote. 3-1, Guild onto the board. But as said, this is where things are kind of going to become very difficult for them because it's a 4-buy coming up for FNATIC. You're going to have two ults incredibly close to being online. Okay, the Viper's Pit was actually wasted in the last round and didn't really have that much impact. But on the other side of things, they've also got Seekers and a Showstopper. So maybe something that can sort of bridge the gap at least a little bit. However, we'll have to wait and see.
I gotta say, B Long just using the Viper's Pit on the wings is such an interesting approach. I'm not quite sure what FNATIC were leaning for because they had a judge inside Hookah as well, and then a 3-stack on A. But only 3 players on that kind of weak round that didn't get, didn't give them the kind of punch that they needed to pack on that one. Now those rifles though, Durka, Operator, playing the wings towards Bathroom, everybody else is in danger of taking a fight any moment. Guild were spread out. They were looking for some of this control. And actually now, Tom, the second that Durka walks back, they go towards this position. They're going to be spotted by that boom bot.
Well,
I think so.
The thing is, they've used so much utility towards B. I can only assume this is an attempt to pull rotations. Like, you've seen a boom bot and a Prowler into Hookah. You've seen a Tiger also go towards Long. Like, they are trying to pull rotations, but they haven't really taken that map control. So FNATIC have no real reason to move just yet. 40 seconds left, and they're basically just sat outside the A site. Well, FNATIC haven't changed their setup at all.
Yep, Mystic's able to pop out some flashes now, confirm that they're not actually there, but the Seekers are on their way through A, and that's already causing the rotations. Durka now looking behind, suspicious of the flank, but it's all going to come down to timing, whether he catches them or not. He goes back. Just as safe rounds the corner. Good trade out by Trex. His life for Alpha Air. As we go into the 3v3 and safe. Still looking to grab some value with that Operator. Is going to be shut down. Guild not able to get that spike on the floor. And now there's only 8 seconds left. No time for Leo. This round is already forfeit. He just needs to decide whether his life is as well. A Vandal in his hands. Doesn't need to go down. And yeah, he's going to run towards his spawn. 4-1. FNATIC claiming that round. And Tom, I mean, when we start out that A push, there are only 2 players on site. And I think Durka gets way less value than we could have seen from him there. So that was a spooky round out of Guild. I wouldn't be surprised to even see a timeout now.
Yeah, the thing that's quite... I understand the whole like utility taken towards B. Normally, though, when you do something like that, you kind of pick up the pace in towards A, because any rotation that will have been made. Okay, they've done all of this utility into hookah and long, so now they're probably going to push it. Whereas because they kind of slowed things down, like Boaster initially actually went for a rotation, then went, oh, they haven't actually moved that way. Okay, we'll just sit there and wait. Now, it might have just been to try and set them up for this round, as they are actually going to take a lot of that control for free. But again, there's still this 3-player stack, and again, there's been no rotation.
Guild making their way right into the site. Trex with the same blast back out to claim space. He's actually tucked in this corner. It's going to catch Mystic off guard. A good frag for them, a foothold for Guild, but the rest of FNATIC has now arrived on the scene. Guild need to make a decision. That nade going to do a little bit of damage. Leo down through the wall. Things are getting a little bit scary for Guild. They try to push forward the trades. Back and forth they go, leaving Coldamenta alone, but he's already teleported. He's towards the other side, not even going to take the orb. It's all about the timing to get this spike on the floor. Even still, Boaster is very close by.
A little wary that might have been a fake to try and bait him in. HP firmly in the advantage of Coldamenta, and he's just about made it around the corner. Means he's going to be tucked in, ready, and in fact, again, it's just going to come down to the timing. I think he's expecting him still to be on that other side, but knows exactly where he is at this stage. Almost just trying to bait him within this smoke. Here's the spam, but nothing really landed, and Coldamenta's almost just given into the fact, okay, he can't be on this defusal at this point. The spam, oh, it's actually missed. He's going to get it halfway, but no. The smoke will fade, and Coldamenta is going to be able to find that kill. Too close for comfort, but Guild have got their second round.
Very patient play by Coldamenta. I mean, the spray at first, but the fact that he falls back and just sits knowing that, okay, he shouldn't be defusing at this point. And I'm sure at any second, his ears were perked up, ready to hear that spike is being defused sound, but luckily it never came through. Boaster caught with the fading smoke. I mean, 4-2, it's still not fantastic for Guild, but they have managed to put FNATIC, I think, into a little bit of an uncomfortable spot. You know, we're seeing some very weak weaponry on that defensive side pulled through in this round.
Well, yeah, this is just a half buy. You can see with the credits still over 2,000 on everybody except Boaster, and realistically, everything that's been invested elsewhere, like the Guardians, is just an attempt to try and do some damage, maybe steal the round away. And again, we're looking at a team that's very close on some ults, but on the other side of things, Tour de Force activated. You've also got Nightfall, which I think, especially when you're coming up against a weaker purchase, it's valuable just for the information it gets. Okay, maybe it's not going to win you the round in terms of taking over the site the same way a Rolling Thunder might, but it will give you that info if there's a stack somewhere.
Oh, information already going towards Guild. They've spotted Alphayer tucked in the corner on B, and they're making their way all the way around to the A site. It feels like, was that their fake attempt? Because they don't try to punish Alphayer, they don't try to force TP, and now they're coming back towards the A site. There are 4 players here. I mean, this was the most telegraphed play that Guild have made thus far. FNATIC are ready, but Durka absolutely not, as he gets caught off, blindsided. The trades, they do go Guild's way, and nade kill on the Mystic. It feels like guaranteeing them the round.
Benzo's only going to be able to get one, and while the late flank coming through from Alphayer, it seems like they're very aware of it. Yep, Leo's just going to be watching, and I felt that way about quite a lot of the fakes from Guild so far. I don't think they've actually pulled any rotation, but maybe that's not the goal. It might just be to try and stick them into that side of the map, because they know that FNATIC are playing 3 players on that side. It means ultimately, in most cases, okay, it was a very fast rotation here, but they can walk into a side with 2, but yeah, I do kind of wonder if the weapons had been even there, if Guild would have had such an easy time. I think that in most cases, there's been a minimum of 3 players when they've tried to push into a site. And I think the only round there wasn't. They actually lost.
It's putting them in a bit of a weird position. Okay, Durka's down mid. He's ran all the way through and been caught immediately. That was an ambitious play for a full buy. That even more so. Mystic running through the teleporter. Enzo on top of a nade. What is going on, Tom? This is a full buy from FNATIC. A different strategy pulled out, that is for sure.
Yeah, I can see what they were trying to do, but it was it was not the same sort of normal synergy you'd expect from that sort of play from Fnatic. Like, you had Durka pushing, you then had the Haunt, which was just really late. Because it was like, Durka died, and then it went, and everyone's here. And it's like, well, yeah, we know now. I've been shot in the face. And then I think you also had a player push through the TP, which was also just after, or even push it, maybe it was pushed through bathrooms, I'm not sure. One of the two, it happened so quickly. No, it was through the TP. But the flash came through, again, after someone was already dead. Then the player in mid, they already know. And it's like, if you shorten all of those gaps by maybe half a second, that's a perfect pinch with knowing where everyone is through the smoke and probably could have wallbanged someone through the TP. Instead, every little bit just seemed a tiny bit off. And so everybody fights 1v1.
That's the danger, you know, when you dry run these strats to perfection, when it works, it works, but unfortunately, it's not the easiest to piece together. On one of those,
also, everyone was there,
missing, yeah,
which is not going to happen very often.
Yeah. And it's probably good if it does happen. To be honest, if that reveal comes through, even though you're blinded, you're still able to get the kills. If Durka doesn't get blinded, if they don't put a prowler, so on. There's so many things that can happen there. An unfortunate start leaves them back into a really rough spot, and this is the real benefit for Guild. Okay, they've gotten out of that one clean enough. A real benefit being that, you know, they come into that previous round, they find an incredible setup in the early round. I mean, they couldn't have planned that any better, and now they're left up against very weak weapons. It should be a guaranteed fifth, and that leads Guild back into the lead. I mean, they were stalling out to start this map, so this is exactly the recovery we were hoping to see out of these guys. And look at this fake, Tom. It's actually been sold completely.
Yeah, I think especially from 3-1 down to now take the lead, especially on the attacking side, it looks pretty good for them. And I think part of that is that Durka's got off to an incredibly quiet start, which I do think that in comparison to his normal chamber play, the defensive side of Raze is going to be much more about those raw duels, which thus far he just hasn't been winning. Like, the default from Guild has been very, very strong, as we saw in the last round with such an aggressive push. Well, this time Fnatic taking a gamble. Gamble doesn't pay off. And now you got to almost try and hope that you can bait someone into the spike. You can see the after plants are there from Guild as well.
There's literally no way. You just got to go down to the spike at this point. Oh, it's worth it. It's so close to being the ult online for Mystic. He ends up just one away. And one bullet as well, with Trax being 5 HP on the way back. Still, 5 rounds found for Guild. That's where we expected to be. 8 ultimates online coming into this round, Tom. Potential for 9 with Mystic one away. This could be crazy.
Yeah. I normally call this one the Observer's Nightmare, just because when there's this many ults online, to catch when every single one of them is being used can be incredibly difficult, but it's whether or not Guild actually feel the need to use them, because at the moment I think what has been successful for them is almost just patience. Playing their defaults, waiting for Durka to get aggressive, waiting for someone to try and pressure them, and then falling back into an execute where Guild probably do their best work. I think they're one of the best execute heavy teams. They're one of the best teams at having strong synergetic utility, and thus far I think Fnatic have tried and had attempts to disrupt them, but most of them have been failures.
This is what we wanted to see from Guild in the sense that we wanted to see them put to the test from one of these better teams. We wanted to see what happens to this default when it's actually being, you know, challenged on the other side by undoubtedly tier 1 opponent right now, and they are holding their own. It seems like every little bit of doubt you have about Guild just gets dispelled as soon as they have the opportunity. Snake bite through right away, bouncing off the top, so it lands instantly. Not sure about that snake bite onto Mystic. It did leave him vulnerable on the way through, but luckily he still grabs one, and Alpha here is following up. It was an okay hold, and they've got a showstopper to get back in there, as well as a nightmare, but that was a little bit messy.
Nightfall activated. Oh, that was close. Saves aggressive position, almost gets rid of everything. Hodamenta just having to play close, and the thing is with the Cosmic Divide as well, to say they're void of sound is maybe the biggest understatement ever. They cannot hear a thing. Leo having to try and almost gamble on the fact that they're not quite on this diffuser yet, and you can just see all of the utility being put through. He's just having to wait and hope that nothing's happening on the other side, and the fact is they've already managed to get this one to half. He's not going to hurt the ping of the diffuse either, and they can just sit there. Lovely combination of utility out from FNATIC, and it just meant that, well, Leo was stuffed.
Yeah, I think he realized that the only way he wins that is if they make a massive mistake, so he gave them the floor, you know? He said, go ahead. You guys mess up and I'll punish you, but it didn't happen. Nicely closed out. FNATIC have Viper's Pit as well coming into this round. I saw the Judge bought up by Alpha Air, so low economy already being buffed up by that ultimate held into this one. I do wonder where they're going to use it though, because that, okay, belong again by the looks of it. I see Alpha Air here early, Judge in hand, Mystic inside hookah. It seems like this is a play that FNATIC are putting a lot of faith in, Tom. And we didn't see any value from it last time, with it being an immediate A hit. Thing was, last time the players on A didn't have rifles. This time they do.
Yeah, it did do its job in essence of like maneuvering them away. The thing is though, again, I feel like Guild are very, very confident in their site executes at the moment. I don't think that their fakes have been like magnificent in the majority of rounds. I think like success is 1 in probably out of like 5, but they're so good at just like actually sectioning off certain positions. The amount of people I'm seeing getting like hit by like nades or molotovs out of corners, or even just being cleared by the prowlers, which I think have actually looked pretty exceptional from Leo. Now, I will say that's the least surprising thing you're going to hear from me today, because Leo is good at every agent he's ever played. Like they stuck him on Reyna last week, and it wasn't my favorite, don't get me wrong, but he still looked fine on it.
It's definitely something I'd love to hear, like from Thurka's perspective, how annoying it's been to play against this, because sure, he's 3-7, right? So statistically, bad game from Thurka already, sure. But we can then look at it and say, well, a lot of these early aggressive positions he wants to take are being shut down. That mid play where they attempted to push down, Prowler hits him instantly, 4 players are swinging him. Like, you are being discouraged heavily from those plays.
It doesn't feel like Leo only has 2 Prowlers.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't know why, but in my head, I'm just like, he must have at least 8 with the amount of positions he seems to be able to clear. But, yeah, we've seen the early Viper's Pit go down. Locking off position. Instead, they're actually going to go pushing in towards hookah. Now, the danger here is, of course, the fact that you've got Mystic with a Judge, but as you can see, that position is very likely to be cleared. In fact, they're going to clear it multiple different avenues. And while Mystic it should be screwed here. Yeah, wonderful utility combo. And in fact, they've cleared out all the other players as they look to rotate.
The TP... the TP spam play. So that's the idea. You get your Judge in hookah. They can react off the back of it. Ravwell, Judge is killing them. Enzo's in the TP. He's killing them. Good idea. But Guild are very cautious. You know, these guys, they step up. They see the star. They're like, I don't know about this. They stay behind it. They're instantly able to back out. The lack of overcommitment in these situations is really impressive from Guild, because I feel like they never... There's a lot of positions where we look at a player and go, oh, yeah, well, he was never going to get anything from there, was he, Tom? But they never seem to put themselves in those positions. They've done a remarkable job of always being in the right place for these engagements, or to avoid these trap plays.
Well, I think the cool thing about this composition, which obviously is being run on both sides, this like trifecta of agents, is you could afford to throw in both the Tiger and a Prowler in towards that side of the map, because if you say you come back here later, you still have a Boombot, you still have the flashes, maybe you have Seekers, or you have another Prowler, or you have a Haunt. And so what they were doing is basically, okay, let's check if there's someone here with the Tiger. There is someone here. Now let's throw in a Seize and a Nade combo, because we already know someone's there. There's nowhere they can go at this point. One goes in front, the other goes behind. He's half HP and he's dead. Like, it's a position that I think many have struggled with for a very long time, is Judge in hookah, let's avoid it. And instead, they've just gone, okay, we've got 2 pieces of, or 3 technically, if you include the Tiger, that's just going to clear this out, and the person is dead. There's nothing Mystic can do there, because he's half HP and he's standing on a nade.
Some good info to play with there early for FNATIC. This round, it's tough. I mean, you got to make some risky plays, and it looks like Dirk is the one trying to find some space here. He's dodged it! Gone over the the showstopper and taking Trex. Heads are going his way as a third is found. This is unbelievable. Durka stepping it up. The rest of his team has practically nothing to play with. Only 2 rifles. My God, they only needed 1.
Yeah, you gotta love Durka having a quiet half, right? Man just bunny hops over the top of his head and then kills him.
Here he comes.
It's so ridiculous. Of course he wants to try and finish this off. Got to pad the stats and, well, eventually Mystic's there to do it. 6-6. Definitely, I don't really think tells the story of this half just because of how strong FNATIC actually started and then just Guild just grinding things back and having a really strong attack inside. So I don't think FNATIC are going to be particularly happy with this, but at the same time, I think if Guild maybe get off to a slightly better start, this could have been a really dominant half.
He was trying to last pack out of the guys who are pushing him in bath and then just sees the showstopper there, and it was so perfect, the timing of that. Oh, he must have felt like he was in his own little action movie for a moment there. It had a tragic end for him, but you know what? The half overall, he's ended up in an okay position. 6-6. Tom, who comes out of that half smelling the roses? Like FNATIC sweeping it back up in the end to equalize, but they also had a lead for so long, and Guild did so well to pull back into it. It's an even score line, and in my head, it feels like an even game.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I think with most teams you're looking at buying and you're probably thinking like, okay, I want to get a lot of like landslide rounds on my defense. Like I think that's where you really want to be playing to your strengths. The thing is, I don't put Guild in that bracket. I think that they're very good with their executions, and the way that they actually play on their attack is something I think they're maybe my favorite team other than potentially FPX to watch on the attacking side, because I think they just have a lot of really cool ideas. And for FNATIC, they're probably more on that other side of things of, okay, yeah, we have a very good attack, but our defense has been very, very strong. So obviously it's not quite the same sort of scenario we saw in the past from them when they used to just be the afterplant gods. But yeah, I think we've come out, like scoreline-wise, we've come out with an even half. I think Guild, maybe just because of that early force buy, if they look back at this half, they might feel a little bit disappointed because I think they were the better team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the sort of strange thing about it, because for Guild, in the rounds that we've seen, they have been very concise when they're pushing into those sides, when they're often, I mean, I would say their fakes were very poor, and yet the results were very good.
All FNATIC were good at reading them. You can see a positive spin.
Exactly. But yeah, in terms of Guild, I think they've certainly warmed up towards the end of that half. They've come out of that looking good. Pistol win here, I think, makes up for a lot of the errors previously, but same thing there for FNATIC. They had that strong lead in the first half. They could have been closing that one out easily with, I think, 7-8 rounds, and you wouldn't really bat an eye with how things were going. But I suppose you can look at it as Guild bounce back in, or FNATIC allowed them to. And I know FNATIC will look at it from that second perspective. So definitely fired up coming into this half. A little bit of a tech pause dealt. That gives them teams a breather.
Yeah.
Better, though, when it's a close game to have this than if you're way behind and then you've got to sit there and wait to start the comeback. That's one of the worst feelings.
Yeah, I think now we're going to see the slight difference within those compositions, though, because obviously I feel like Alfia, at least in terms of the early retakes that they were winning, was able to do quite a lot with his utility. Okay, let's ignore the few bits that hit Mystic and move on. But I think stylistically it's going to be very different, because now the focus for me is on safe. Because if you're going to make that change, if you're going to take that Viper out, and a lot of the time you're going to have that utility that allows you to delay, even having the Viper's Pit on this map is so impactful, and instead you're going to go, I'm going to go shooty, bang, bang, and win us some rounds, I need to see it. Because that's all you've really got at this point from Chamber. You've got the quick reposition, and you've got the ability to be incredibly aggressive and disrupt your opponents. Now, FNATIC, when they attempted that in the last half, it failed miserably. Their aggressive plays, well, they got slaughtered, maybe because of slight mistiming and also because Guild played very well. So for Safe to sort of pull something out of the bag here, yes, the agent is cracked as hell right now, but is it going to be enough for him to shut down someone, for example, like Durka, who's going to be waiting for him to make those plays?
Words in from the admins, it was a little bit of a voice comm problem over on FNATIC, so now they should be a well-oiled machine. Already coming in with the first, not sure that's down to communication. We'll see he's coming through. Coldamenta is bailing out altogether. Look at these rotations that are being dragged. All players on long. TP is still a possibility. I think Gilda realizing that. They're slowing it down and actually rotating all the way back over to A.
Yeah, this has just become down to like a complete meta game of we trying to guess what they're doing while they try to guess what we're doing. And we've got two of the best IGLs in the scene right now facing off against each other. And well, right now for Coldamenta, it doesn't look like he's got this one right. The push is already starting to come through the other side, but he is the lone defender. I almost feel like he just has to either get a fadeaway kill or just completely give it up and play retake. And well, he's gone for the latter.
Yeah, the right play, especially when you're running in with the frenzy. He's got a kill for it. Now going to be flanked out. Durka up close. He's ran into him. The barrel stopped this movement. A 4 versus 3. Guild's numbers thinned out a little bit, and as they fight back in, they've lost control of an entire side of the map. I mean, Fnatic have carved out their own little safe haven. They're losing players still, and now it's just long that they've got control of. The spike planted for them at least. Leo on Boaster, but not able to grab the kill. Trex has the info, but he's got 13 health. And at this point, I mean, Boaster with a frenzy. And Enzo, right click, just one bullet needed to take him down. He's going to be revealed right away. He's making steps up close, and, well, it goes as predicted. 7-6, Fnatic take the pistol. And that's going to give them the little bit of, I'd say, an edge in this half. But I remember Guild 4 spot that second round. They didn't find success. Now on defense, I'm curious to see if they go for it again.
If you force on defense, I feel like you almost just have to completely disrespect your opponent. Like it's completely different to the attack where you can get a plant and basically earn some extra credits to give you an opportunity. And also you're then just running into a team as a 5 and there's a chance you can just overwhelm and trade. There's so much more value in that. Whereas I feel like on defense, you don't respect your opponent if you're doing it. Now, again, we saw in the last round how difficult it is to play that aggressively versus Fnatic, because Safe ran down and got insta one-tap by Alpha, and that's the problem. Right now, whether or not, like, you've obviously got the 2 superstars, but Mystic, Enzo, all in form at the moment, so he's going to have a difficult time, I would say, finding success with these aggressive pushes. Obviously, once he gets an op or something different, I think it's a completely different ball game, but getting that in early is not going to be easy.
They're going to slow it down again. It seems like Fnatic are running this contact B and then playing super slow, allowing Guild to rotate back the other way, getting Durka healed up here as well. And then they'll fight in to what should be a relatively open site. Only one player spotted up close. Leo's... Ooh, he's stuck now. He's in a lot of trouble.
Okay. He still gets one. I'll be honest. He should have been dead a long time ago. Well,
30 seconds
yeah, good luck, Coldamenta. Only one player lost. That's okay for Fnatic, and now they're going to come in with mostly a Spectre buy going into this next round. Again, it's almost a flip, because Guild, I think if they're going to break back into this game, have to win this round, and for Fnatic, even just damage here would be okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. You know, a frenzy and 4 Spectres, though, the ability to group up and take those fights, especially with how well they've been selling these fakes. Now, I mean, the thing is, Guild, when you're playing with pistols, you're going to fall for fakes way more because you're going to stack up. You're going to take those risks. I wouldn't imagine it'll be the case this time, but we'll see from Fnatic. It's spreading the net for now, playing default, and I guess reading into what Guild are doing. Getting the info that they can, and then, well, ooh, where's this going? For the long?
Well, they pinged the B site, but it seems like instead...
You're disgusting.
It's actually forced Russ off the angle so they can try and battle versus the other player.
61 HP.
That is disgusting. Yeah, I feel like he spent a lot more time in it than he definitely should have done. And Poster's just run out with a Spectre. Double kill it. Oh, he's screwed. This utility usage has been beautiful from Fnatic. They have picked this squad apart.
Yeah, just go save Guild. I would run away from this one as fast as you can. 0 damage. Boaster's healed up, I think, after, you know, he was the contact man diving out a hookah with a Spectre, finding 2 kills. I agree with you. Look, Russ stayed in that snake bite for too long, but the reason he stayed in the snake bite is he has a teammate on the other side He hears the dog coming. They've just thrown a snake bite on it. Like, this is clearly them trying to isolate that other player or take control along. And he's thinking, I can catch them. They're going to be looking left side on the way up that wall. If I swing, they could be lined up 2-3 kills. Bam, bam, bam. Easy. And Safe is there to trade if I go down. I like what he did. I think he made the right move. But I think FNATIC literally wanted him to do that. That was their idea. It was, we're going to get the guy on long. We're going to trap him with the dog. Then we're going to have the snake bite to catch him on the way back, which is going to mean that he's vulnerable for our specters to catch him on the way out. And instead of him just being vulnerable, he was vulnerable in 60 HP. So it doesn't get much better than that. Or he wasn't vulnerable, but he was 60 HP. So it's the same thing.
I also just think all this util here. Like the C's in combination with the Prowler, meaning the player was blind and stuck and half HP. It's like, if you're up at the Spectre's probably the worst gun you can come up against there. Yeah, wonderful setup. As said, that was a must-win round for Guild. And now they're in trouble because they've got the couple of rifles saved. You can see how patient FNATIC are being there, expecting a move. Oh, no, timing could be worse for Boaster. Complete opposite of the previous round, and now they're going to try and use that to their advantage to try and take some space, now knowing a couple of push, but they've repositioned.
Lots of noise being heard here. The spike being planted, nade through, sees as well, and it doesn't quite reach. Russ caught on the way back. Now things are... Oh, they're going to be difficult for Guild to get into a lot of these positions, and I think especially in towards Lamps, leading it with the utility, but Dirk is here. Dirk is also, I believe, got a nade still in his back pocket, and they're not able to take control of mid. Mystic still holding that down, means Alpha Air can even focus on helping. Nade through, Trex down to 3 HP, and yeah. I mean, that's just like dominoes there for FNATIC. They just let him crumble 10-6. This is where Guild have to put a stop to it. If they don't win this round, you're already thinking about map number 2.
Yeah, and the thing is, because of all the upgrades along the way, FNATIC are coming into this with a 4-buy. Like, there's none of the weaker weaponry that was there over the last couple of rounds, where basically we call it a bonus and you kind of give the advantage over to the other team. That's completely dissipated. You've almost got a showstopper as well for Durka, who, bear in mind, I think he was like 3-7, has now caught up with everybody else within the pack and starting to do real damage and cause problems as the tip of the spear for this squad. Now, this was the weapon we wanted to see on Safe, though. I think if he was ever going to have impact within this defensive side, he needs that operator, he needs that ability to escape, and he's got both.
4 players for FNATIC above half of their cash as well. And you get Durka maxed out next. This is it's not something that Guild can afford to come in and say, oh, look, we won this round in a 1v1. No, you got to be showing the dominance of the defensive side for the next couple of rounds. Save here with a good chance. Great connection. That opening takes down Boaster. It means no smokes for them on the way through. They're going to have to use this wall, and the wall and orb are already down. So this is a play that Guild are very much ready for. They knew this utility was coming through. No surprise factors anymore for FNATIC, and they've lost Alpha Air now, so goodbye to that wall.
Oh! He just got sniped out of the sky! And speak about Safe stepping up. 3 kills already in this round. Plant might just about come through, but Enzo's dead to it. Oh, Mystic. I talk about hero play. 4 kills for Safe. One thing that really is intriguing, though, so it seems like FNATIC have a mass setup that involves clearing B long, and then have nothing for A long, which I just think is really, like, it's like you've got a snake bite to force him off if he's playing on the side where he can just retreat to site, and then you have the tiger that goes through to force him into the TP, and then on the other side, Boaster just dry peeked into showers. It's like, I feel like if you're going to have such a beautiful setup on one side, I almost want to see the parallel on the other side, because otherwise Safe can still run riot, even if you manage to move him off one side of the map.
I do feel like a certain element of that, though, 10-6 in the lead, you play that round more defaulty, see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because maybe you win that and it's just, closed out. You don't need to do anything else, really. But a disappointing round for FNATIC for sure. I think that this time they come through, still having the funds for next round as well. Like we said, that economy is stacked. But now we start to see some of these ideas, perhaps. They're already through a long. I mean, they're down into bat. Snake bites on backside. Here comes a haunt. Stun onto Russ. It's perfect. Showstopper. 3 players are in the spawn. That's going right on Russ. He had no escape.
Hit Trex as well. Or at least it looks like it did. Man is down to just 11 HP. Dirk is still in a fairly aggressive position. They're having to clear all of the close angles with their utility on Guild. And while the man has been given the operator instead just to be given a chance. Safe though. Gives them a way back in. Now, of course, in terms of utility, there's still plenty available. And you can see on the other side, there is actually the Nightfall, but the Showstopper has killed off Enzo. Safe has found another. It leaves just 2 remaining. Boaster above already manages to drop 1. And bear in mind, Trex is so low, and he misses the shot. There's still an opportunity here. Not on that defusal just yet. And a bullet will take out Trex. Instead, he's going to peek wide and get both of them. Boaster pulling off the clutch. 11th on the board for FNATIC. And, well, that couldn't have been much closer.
No, it absolutely couldn't. You know, for FNATIC in that position, I thought it was locked out. Then they start getting a bunch of kills with Trex on 1 HP, man. He almost went down to the Showstopper. He lost another little bit of health along the way as well. Let's take a look. Yeah, he just made it around. He ends up, he was 11 HP, so the decay, I mean, it does nothing. He's the same. Dodges this at the start. Boaster pulling the grab well just as the smoke dissipates. So many small plays that actually, you know, to the start, they gave Guild a way back in. But then Karma came around and hit him on the other side. FNATIC are 11-7. And look at Guild. They're going to have ultimates in this round, but this is where everything is put on the line for them.
Well, yeah, Tour de Force has to be used just to save their finances. Rifles being purchased, but it means their economy's on the brink as well.
You want to use the Tour de Force as well? It's, I mean, you're going to, obviously, but it sucks to have to use it in a round where Alfear has that Viper's Pit to play in.
But yeah, I think also just maybe try and get some orbs, but that's easier said than done, with both of them being placed in advantageous positions. And yeah, as you said, if it comes into an afterplant, like, I'll be honest, if it comes into an afterplant, especially with this sort of setup, I feel like it was kind of done anyway. I guess the orbital strike could kind of help with that, but you want to allow for your teammate in terms of safe to get aggressive, and, well, I feel like if they're in an afterplant, he's probably already dead.
So much commitment on that A side. I like that Safe is so low, but he's going to be challenged, and it comes down to whether he can connect or not. So far, he certainly has been. Not 4K round with the op. Sniping one out of the air. It was gorgeous. They've caught Alfear. No Viper's Pit now. FNATIC need to make a move. They haven't spotted the full force of Guild on A, but you've lost the control, lost the player, no wall up, so there's not going to be any fake for the A site. And now rotations have come back to B. You've also got Leo here to help out. Well. Oh!
Okay, though. Yeah, he actually peeks back in. And that is going to give that afterplant available. Luckily, though, the Alpha is gone. So a lot of that sort of heavy afterplant utility that we were talking about has dissipated. And in fact, they're going to be fairly quickly getting their way back into the site. In fact, it'll be before they can even plant. Orbital Strike has denied them once again. 20 seconds. FNATIC need to move.
Yeah, Guild are trying to push out, though. They know that they've got to try to stop this spike plant, or at least punish them as they get it down. Enzo going to be taken out. The spike now in the middle of sight. No chance for it to go back into FNATIC's favor. Guild have walked out with a nice, convincing round. And the orbital strike used there, I mean, it does stop them getting the plant. I think, you know, even though it doesn't get the kills or anything like that, Guild do a good job of using up their flashes, swinging out afterwards, and still capitalizing on the space and the chaos that they've caused with those players having to run back to the site. They even managed to stop Enzo from planting that extra time just by making all that noise and by flooding out.
Well, I think as well, they actually put a Molotov into the one of the only places that would have been safe around the right side of the plant. So, yeah, just really solid utility usage there from Guild. Safe kind of does his job in terms of the aggressive play to deny them that space a little bit earlier on. And FNATIC are going to take a pause. Now, obviously, in terms of their finances, they're okay. Like, you've still got 7,000 in terms of credits for Boaster to spread the wealth. They've still got that Viper's Pit and a Cosmic Divide not far away. Ults on the other side are a little drier. Like, you do have yourself Nightfall available to sort of try and take over the site, but ultimately, I'm almost looking at them to try and get Seekers, because I think especially with how they've been playing in their retakes, if they had information, for example, in the round before where Boaster was, they probably win that round. And I think that ult could play such a huge part, because they haven't done the best of jobs of denying the space to FNATIC to actually get into afterplants.
See, you say the money isn't going to be necessarily a problem. I mean, Alpha Year's taking a Vandal. We got full Vandals here. Enzo support obviously going to be taking the Sheriff, working up behind them.
Bomb buddy out.
I'm interested in this one. Alpha Year holding the back, so it doesn't look like they're fully looking to commit just yet. Purely trying to take this control out of the hands of their opponents. A little bit of utility through, safe. Still good, though. Still alive here. I thought he would have had that down already, but just keeping that card in his back pocket. That's a very brave play out of safe.
Yeah, it looked like maybe expecting them not to challenge Hookah as much and just looking to try and take some much deeper control. They've got the information as well. There's still players out towards long, so ultimately for Guild, they know quite a lot here. I don't know how Trex has just died to a wallbang, but whatever it was, I feel like Bose is going to be quite happy about that one.
Just in the back of sight. Yeah, I don't even know. Must have just clipped the head or something like that.
You want to fight?
All this information coming out from Guild, they're trying to find out if the players are still here, and they are finding out, but the hard way, dropping players. Okay, we're back into even footing. Guild are on the site, they're holding it down. Safe is popping off. He's got another with the Headhunter out, and Dirk is alone. No chance with a 4K from Safe. He steps it up to get Guild the round again, and in this moment, they needed it more than ever.
Well, yeah, we saw that it was preemptively said by the desk, and we mentioned it in the cast as well, that Safe's value, firstly, will come in on this defensive side a lot more, but also it's purely for firepower. The man was on a Viper in the previous iteration of their composition, and, well, that firepower is definitely being put on display. Top of the board right now, we've seen multiple rounds with him getting 4Ks on this defense, and in fact, they haven't had a massive amount of them, so the fact that he already has a few under his belt, definitely solid. Look how aggressive he's being, though. Already being spotted by the pistols, but isn't going to overface, it isn't going to over-aggress, and in fact, they're still using utility just in case his position is still aggressive.
There could be an opening for Boaster to sneak through. But he's going to be spotted now. Oh! No, he's not! I haven't checked it! Boaster's been able to sneak all the way by, and Russ has gone down for his troubles. What a fantastic play out of Boaster, and a big misplay out of Guild, Tom. They've lost another player. The rifles are upgraded. Alpha Year has got that Viper's Pit. They've got this site. Yeah, I find it hard to imagine it doesn't go down right now just to secure this, and there you go. This is a very tough round for Guild.
Yeah, almost trying to bait in someone to peek off the back of the plant. Actually, they've put down a grapple just to hold it back, and for a second, Durka goes out of that Viper's Pit. Nice clear from Safe, though. Still, in terms of weaponry, the advantage is with the defending side as they look to get back through. If they can clear out Safe, though, this hold becomes a lot easier, and they know it. Already trying to have this crossfire. I think the maximum he should get is one. In fact, absolutely nothing found. Leo at least getting one back in response, but still this Viper's Pit is down. Still problems are being caused. Alpha again finds another, and while Leo making the decision that he's just got to try and hold on to the gun. Round already over.
Yeah, playing inside that Viper's Pit, he knew he just had no chance. The wild spray that he made, if he finds the connection, sure, he sticks around, maybe tries to win it, but other than that, there was no chance. I am astounded with the round that we've just seen, and it all comes from a tiny decision from Russ not to turn that Tiger to the right on its way through, allowing Boaster to sneak onto the site. And you know what, Tom? I know how it feels, man. All right, this guy's sneaky. You can put a drone out, he'll be behind you, knifing you before you know it. It's a respectable way to die, and I'm not. I won't hold it against you, Russ. It happens to the best.
less of like a in general sort of story and more personal?
No, that was just off the top of my head. Just thinking
so
of
this
Boaster.
hasn't happened to you,
Definitely,
say, and with video evidence.
All right, now listen, Tom. 12-9, 3 rounds to go between these teams. FNATIC have 3 chances to close this out.
It's just so annoying. He's like, oh, hold on. There's no point, is there?
That's a nice little bit of utility usage to pull them back off the angles at the start. I think safe, though. Did he have his... he did have his TP down, right?
I've got your trail.
Yeah, so he's got to wait for it now. Okay. So it ends up actually delaying them a little bit. They pull rotations over 3B, but now as FNATIC go to the other side of the site, Guild have rotated to here as well.
Annoying. Alphea's snake bites is always just forcing someone out of position, and they're just clearing the site so methodically. Koldamenta, the only man on spot, and now it is left on to safe. He's had his moments. In fact, I think he single-handedly won them 2 of the 3 rounds they've managed to get in the second half, but this would be the best of them.
Yeah, this would be something else. That is 4Ks. His Headhunter out seeking a little bit more. Operator looking back. Here comes the... What was that shot, man? That's why I was almost believing in it from the get-go. But 13-9 will close out fine. FNATIC looking good starting out this series, Tom. And, well, I have to say, Guild put up a decent fight. That certainly resurgence towards the end of the first half. But we came into this map expecting FNATIC to take it. The close nature of the game, though, still puts a lot of faith for me in Guild coming onto their map.
For sure. Like, you have to bear in mind that it was poor starts in both halves. They lost the bonus in the second half as well, and they lost in the, I think, both times. So I think it was like 6-0 in the early rounds going in favor of FNATIC. So I know this is a very close game. It's just that FNATIC managed to get it in the early rounds, and Guild had to try and grind back each time. And, well, you're always going to expect FNATIC to find a round here and there. Good start to the series, of course, but as I said, it's a map that we favor FNATIC on, and now we go into one where I think we probably favor Guild.
Yeah, I think so. Well, let's get on to that. And let's hear from our analysts about what they think for map number 2. They'll be coming to you right after this break.
What a first map. The 2 best teams here at EMEA, they go up against each other, but FNATIC, they come out on top. I'm Yingsu, and I'm back on the desk with Lothar and Zesh. Tom and Mitch pointed out there, it was a victory for FNATIC on that map, but what an uncharacteristic way for them to win like that. There was a lot of things, Lothar, in there that I personally have never seen them do before, and it wasn't in a good way.
Yeah, the defense was very un-FNATIC, let's say like that way. A lot of singular player pushes, a little bit disjointment in the utility on defense, but then on attack, it was the FNATIC that we know and love with a lot of heavy executes and actual good synergy.
I could be wrong, but I believe that FNATIC was trying to adapt the way Guild was playing, because FNATIC put very often Alphahair in hookah, right? And previously on their bind games, he was always doing the duty towards Bath with Durka, but that adaptation into the hookah position was to me like, okay, they know Guild like to be very explosive towards the position, could be an option. I don't know, could be the case, but it's very interesting to see.
You feel like it was a bit of a costly adaptation?
It could have been a costly adaptation because it felt a lot like in that first half. Not only that, you know, the guys of Guild play quite decently, but also FNATIC really sort of losing against themselves, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surprising that FNATIC took this approach because Guild is the second slowest team in the region after Fnavi, you know, and we have seen also Guild run out of time even for planting. But the thing is, if you know that you're facing such a default heavy team, pushing into them seems like just a bad idea.
Yeah, and I think they threw a couple of rounds by doing just that. But on a good note, however, after a defense side like that, for a team like FNATIC to be able to recover, stick to their game plan, and pull off some of the beautiful executes we saw, is a good sign for them.
It seems like a good sign. It's exactly the FNATIC that I want to see. It still was one thing very clear. I think this was, for me personally, not the A-game FNATIC, right? The A-game FNATIC still has a few more stronger individual plays, less discipline mistakes that we sometimes witnessed.
Was that the A-game Guild, though?
I mean, first half maybe. First half maybe because I think their adaptation was not that bad. Love for don't hate me, I have to quickly mention that fade from Guild for the reason that Trex in the first half, in combination with his teammate Leo, so the C's in combination with the pain shells, he got 3 kills. 25% of his kills on attack purely with pain shells in that combination. Quite remarkable, quite solid, but that did not transfer in the same defense strength.
And the one thing that because what made them not transfer their like let's say advantages into rounds was also because we have seen Russ die 7 times first. As an initiator, as a Sky, dying 7 times first on overall map, that is like
was not
a good sign that your round is going well.
Yeah, I felt like they were bulldozing him down a little bit towards the end. One pick I think we were all a little bit surprised about, and Kukuka was particularly molding about in the green room, is the fact that Save whipped out the chamber on Bind. Now, what did you guys make of this pick here? Was this, you feel like, the right thing to do?
Well, it can go both ways. It's kind of similar to Reyna to some degree, because, you know, if he gets the kills, yes, then it's amazing. If he doesn't, he still has some value with the one trap, while the Reyna is completely like off, right? But he got really amazing kills. He shut down Durka twice with an operator mid like air. There were some really impactful rounds that Save turned around. But I do think that the synergy that I will break down later that FNATIC brought with the Viper instead of the Chamber was worth for them more.
I think most particularly he was standing out to me on defense, not only by the kill department, but you realize that Safe as an operator player is a very reasonable and very thoughtful player. He's not like overextending too much in many scenarios. That's what I really find remarkable about him. At the same time, you noticed a little bit, not too much, that he was a little uncomfortable with that agent. For example, the hookah play where his teleport did not come in time. It seemed a bit like an off thing for someone who's maining Chamber right now.
And also, Safe being Safe, I feel like he would get a lot of kills anyway, just because he's so good with the shooting, bang, bang. But Lothar, you wanted to talk about some of the synergy that we saw from FNATIC in that map.
Yeah, so because the entire lineup is just so synergized together with all the utility that the team has at their disposal. I wanted to break down and execute on A side. We're gonna play it now. This is players coming through showers and through short, right? It's pretty standard stuff, but just take a look at the entire util that is gonna this side. I'm gonna pause it right here. I'm gonna zoom in on the mini-map just so you guys see the position on of the players. But now, 2 Viper Snakebites are being used to clear crucial positions on the side. You can't stand in the cubby, you can't stand on triple boxes, and that enables Durka to go through showers with the showstopper without actually checking like any kind of corners, because so much stuff is happening and covering all the bases. So Durka gets a free kill just because of all of that info combined with the Sky ult, and essentially every single corner from FNATIC is being checked with just those snakebites. And by the way, that's the way that, in my eyes, you should be playing Viper, but, you know, the damage on the snakebites is nerfed, so you can't really fully check a corner with it. Now, another clip that I wanted to show you guys is how efficient is FNATIC with the utility usage. Alfire standing on A short and having that lurk role assigned to him, he's still efficient to help the players on B long, because this snakebite lands on Garden right here. That showcases that even though a player has a role on a completely different side of the map, he still has value for the actual execute on the other side of the map. And also my favorite fundamental thing, that's gonna be the last clip. Where is it? Here, I think this one. I have too many clips, by the way. Sorry, I'm just jumping through them. Where is it? No. Did I delete it? No.
Oh, you didn't delete. You got it.
No.
No?
No.
No?
Oh, this is so awkward. Oh, this is so awkward.
Lothar, please. You have to check. Come on.
No. First one?
Is it done?
No, I deleted it.
Well, if you guys want to check out this, match again, make sure to head over to fnatic.com/mods.
Fight the round for Lothar.
I think that's what you need. Yeah, justice for Lothar. Also, why did Russ just eat that snakebite? It just ate it.
Oh, I have an answer. I have an answer. For that. So he was helping Safe be in the corner because he was tucked in on the other side of the teleport, and he essentially Russ was a bait for the chamber. But he had to show himself. He had to destroy the dog to make Safe just not exposed.
90 HP lost though out of just that
and
one
then 2
thing.
bullets with a Spectre just killed him.
Yeah.
Rough, very rough. But I love that.
No, it's Russ actually.
Oh.
I didn't know you were that too. Anyway, I was really enjoying that you were highlighting the Alpha Gare mid-round from a different position on attack side throwing Snakebite, because this is something I asked Mini particular, because it is something I I personally have not seen very much before, and it is a great adaptation on the attack side that works so well within this team.
I will say, though, we're moving on to Haven next, and I felt like it probably doesn't bode super well for FNATIC. For me here, Zesh, I feel like Guild definitely take this map. We're going to see map 3.
They should. They very much should. I mean, the last time we saw them play, that was against Na'Vi. That was an awkward one once more, I'll tell you that. From an experience, considering officials and how often they played at this stage, yeah, FNATIC should not win this. The only time they played it was against OG London United, our favorite Oglu, and we remember that game, right? They only lost 4 rounds, so I don't find that representative at all. At the same time, how much is FNATIC aware how Guild plays? Because FNATIC is starting on defense here. This is making it kind of exciting to me on how much are they aware of how their opponent plays, because it seemed like they prepared on Bind exactly for that.
Well, kinda and kinda not, right? Because when they were on defense, they actually pushed against the Guild attacks plan.
Did not like that. Did not like that.
But Haven is such a different map when it comes to defending and controlling the map, that you have crucial points that also, like kind of similar to the TPs on Bind. You have those available points of contact that make sure that you have a pinch pressure being made by the attacker that completely, like, let's say, separates the defensive forces.
Ooh, okay, Safe has worked out the chamber here as well.
There we go, there we go, there we go.
Fade on Haven.
That's interesting changes, right? Those are quite interesting changes. Not much happens from the department of FNATIC. They
Lothar looks so upset right now.
No, I'm not upset. I'm thinking hard. That's my face of thinking hard,
what are you thinking?
I like the changes. I like the bolster on the Omen, because on Bind, I actually wanted to make a comment as well that I feel like that Astra is just, in theory, very good, but Omen is just recurring with the power so much, and the Paranoia is just such a great combo with Fade as well. But here, we actually have this on the side of Guild, which makes this interesting. Breach is a fantastic combo as well with Raze. There's a lot of synergy, but again, it comes down also to Chamber, that is just kind of like sticking out there.
I mean, we criticize them for not being with the meta, but they fully embraced Fade Chamber Raze.
Yeah. They did, and I think that's going to be very interesting. If it pays off, though, it didn't seem fully in sync on both homes in the previous map, so let's see if that will change this time around.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Some changes once again on the side of Guild. I can't wait to jump into this with your casters, Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Insu. Tom, diving on into map number 2, I just right away, where is your mind at right now? Because we've had a very close first map. We've already said that Guild, you know, they definitely didn't have the easiest of starts. They went down by quite a bit, still made it a close game. You seen this going to a third?
Yeah, I think we will. I think this is a map that has been very good for pretty much every single iteration of Guild. It's one where I think that Barbar, as their coach, has done a very good job, but also just looks like a lot of comfort picks. Now, they have switched up a fair bit going into this game, which I don't know if this is to test it versus FNATIC, which is definitely a good team to test it with, or just the fact, like, even if you look at the interview with Barber earlier, he's like, I'm really glad that, like, people almost get to make the meta for us so that we can kind of just nick it along the way. So maybe that's the plan. But I definitely don't think that the problem in the last map was Leo playing on Fade. I think it looked pretty good, and I think the strength of the agent is clear comparatively to Sova. I will say I do love watching his Sova, though. So we'll see how it goes. And again, we've got Safe now going back over to Chamber, which I think, especially on this map, I'm only going to be a positive thing.
I think that Guild right now, they're coming in with a little bit of confidence after that previous map. They're starting out attack side here on Haven, and we'll see what they've got up their sleeve. Already smoke out on a long. That's going to push Durka back, lose them a little bit of control, allow Guild to start to carve out a little bit of space on A. But look at FNATIC's response. They start pushing down mid, and I think this is what Guild want. They're holding, waiting for this aggression, and now they know that it's come through. They know that there's at least some players from FNATIC in mid. They're going to look to punish this.
Oh. You've done well. Already managing to find a couple, of course. Dirk is known for these sort of aggressive plays. We've seen it with his shorty prior, but being able to do it with the Headhunter. And actually, just look at this trap setup. Multiple players already waiting in position for them to try and make a move. It's not going to be easy for Trex to find anything here. Even if he gets a single kill, there's still another player around the corner, but actually does do some damage to Mystic, and now we'll double back into B.
Oh, is it B, or is it even further? They're on their way straight through to the A site, challenging Durka. A bold play. He's made his way down below Heaven. sitting and waiting. Now these players trapped and they run right into Durka.
no.
Triple found. Even grab himself a ghost on the way out. Fantastic round for FNATIC, only losing the one player, and even then, Durka's probably going to drop him ghost. So there he could. I think this time though, some players will be wanting some specters as well.
Of course, we've only really seen this composition once before when it comes down to the FNATIC side of things, and the main reason for that is they only played it once this season. It was versus OG London United, which I don't want to be rude, but tells us absolutely nothing because they absolutely battered them, and half of it was just Durka running around killing everyone. So I'm not going to say that it will be a similar story when they face off against Guild, but there are some definite parallels, I think, with both teams in the way they're going to try and play around things. And one of them is definitely going to be chamber aggression. And while Durka already managing to find an opener once again, he's such a menace on maps where there's space to be found. And I think Haven might be the king of it.
Mystic right away. He's not going to get out of there too easily, though. Being pursued by Coldamenta and punished in the end. The nade through. That's going to be some damage done. It's not enough to take Russ down, but it will make it easier for some of the others to punish. Already, though, Guild having a bit of success. If they can drop another player here, I know they'll be happy to even just strip the shields off them at this point. Althea on the way through. He's being caught. Oh, there was a chance if that mag was a little bigger. Coldamenta putting up a fight into the 1v2. Damage being done. That the spray not good enough onto Enzo. So in the end, FNATIC will walk out with that round baton. You see, there's two sides to it. They came in with a lot of pistols, but at this stage, they're going to have to reinvest shields on every single player, plus whatever else they want to work with on this one. It's definitely been a costly round.
Yeah, and I wonder how much they want to reinvest into this one, because ultimately you're not going to have a good purchase here unless you get rid of the Spectres as well. I think the only real danger here for Guild, and it's going to sound dumb, but there is a reason, is Durka. Now, of course, Durka's going to be a danger in every single round, but he's one away from actually having his tour de force available, and that's where this, especially on the defensive side of this map, things change completely. He can lock down portions of the map, have fast rotations. You can see how aggressive he's being, already looking to try and challenge and garage. And on the other side of things, it's a very aggressive push out of the remaining players of FNATIC.
Oh yeah, they are not looking to let the clock run down on this round. The fight being taken immediately. And as things calm down a little bit, you can see FNATIC definitely coming out of that one ahead. Durka holding control for the rotation back across to Seaside, or trying to catch anybody peeking out, but he's being caught instead, and that completely ruins FNATIC's plan, because they had stacked up heavy on A. Durka was the only man on this 3/4 of the map, so Guild can technically just walk in for free, but they don't know that.
Yeah, the thing is, Alpha is actually gonna get there in time. I don't think they expected anybody to be this far through. And actually, so is Enzo. Both players managing to rotate a lot quicker than I think Guild expected for. Luckily, they are able to stabilize and turn this down to just Boaster remaining. But that's the thing. This is already a decent bonus round. Okay, they invested into an extra rifle, but they're guaranteed to have tour de force, and then they can juggle the extra weaponry around. And if Boaster can even find one more kill, it's a pretty horrific one for Guild.
Spike planted.
Yeah, there's a serious possibility for him to catch one, but now that they're in those post plants, they're going to start tucking in. Still don't... Yeah, okay. Nice ranged fight. Nice and easy. There was a chance maybe he can swing out, but especially with the angle he's coming from, they're both staring at him, so unlucky. 2-1 we go. Guild picking up that round. Again, not as convincingly as they would have liked. It's been shaky starts for both, and really what that means is that this round is going to decide a lot. And, you know, yeah. I wouldn't want to be coming into this round thinking, all right, here's FNATIC buying up, but we beat them here. It's all good. Durka's got a tour de force right off the bat. That scares me to death.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the person earning up their ult points on the other side is Coldamenta with the From the Shadows, which it's unlikely to have anywhere near the same level of impact safe. He's caught trying to cross. I think that stun was utterly perfect from Mystic as well, but it's one that you kind of expect. Like, it's one of the more common, just going straight through from short in towards A. And well, that's as free as a kill as you're ever going to get in the early round. He's got him with the showstopper! Althea just trying to take this round on his own, and well, that trade's actually not so bad for Guild.
They're hearing the drone down on short, and they've heard it exactly where was destroyed, right? So a decent idea that Sova's far back on the site, somewhere around default or in the close corner on short. They don't know about Mystic being here already. But at this stage, this late on, you probably expect it. Looks like they've got a flash of their own. That's going to catch both players. Perfect flash. Although Mystic, he's actually avoided most of it. He's able to see just seconds later and take down Trex. Coldamenta, 40 seconds on the clock. Spike down in the open. Has got his ult, so he could technically TP and pick it back up. But with 30 seconds in a 1v4, I'm just not sure he's going to find the success that he needs.
Yeah, I guess maybe you could do it just for a few extra credits or just to try and force them to try and run into you. But I think the holding onto the gun is far more valuable. But this is the thing. Again, I think this is a map that really works for Fnatic on that defensive side just because of how aggressive they can get. Like, you see that Alpha now back on the duelist has absolutely no fear of just causing massive amount of issues. And even just a tiny little set play at the beginning of the round is enough to find that opening onto safe. Well, he's not a player you really want to be losing early on. 3-1 Fnatic, an instant break back. And remember, Mitch, that last round cost quite a lot.
Yeah, the money was spent on that one. The funds committed. Like we said, there was never going to be an easy way out of that one. But I don't quite think you can account for that initial... Well, I suppose you can, like you said, the stun down on A, it's sort of expected, but look, you'll get caught by it once every now and then. They're left with so little here. Just a few pistols to back it up. Coldamanda's got to be the point man. The guy taking the fights, taking the kills. And he'll have to find plenty of them this time around. Otherwise, Fnatic are finding that fourth. And the thing is, building up the economy is just, you need to avoid letting them do that over on the defensive side. Coldamenta, the first man to try it. I'd say you're looking at, you want to get out of this round with 2 kills minimum.
The problem right now, though, is just how quickly Fnatic are able to take this control. You can already see Enzo deep peeking in towards A. You've got a deep peek into C for the majority of the rounds. And then, well, they did have a 3-man setup currently on the B side. But Fnatic are constantly moving with any new information that they actually find. And, well, Enzo is definitely going to see them for a second.
For a split second, indeed. Yeah, they are coming now towards the A site, knowing it's a little bit weaker. Alfier pushing down on short. He's about to meet Safe. Safe's been on point so far. That is so fast. Oh my, Gilder right in this 5v3. They've recovered weapons. They've now got the same number of Vandals as Fnatic do.
I feel like this round has just been about timing. The swings in from either side. Safe almost goes down for the exact same reason, but now looking to try and clear. He's not ready for Boaster. That's one of those rifles already dropped to the deck. Utility being used. In fact, they're going to throw in the Rolling Thunder. The only man who's managed to avoid that is Boaster coming in from behind, and they're all looking in his direction. They were so ready for that peak to come through, knowing there was nothing else for the remainder of Fnatic to be able to do there. Mystic with a tasty shot to at least drop one, but again, holding onto this gun might just have more value for him here, especially with the time ticking so low.
He's made that same calculation. I think he's just trying a little wall bang as well on the short. See what he can do. Oh, he's going down mid. This guy wants to fight. Mystic's taking him. All right, well, look, damage is most certainly done. That was a very aggressive play out of Mystic.
Yeah, I think it's because, well, I was going to say their finances aren't that bad, but they are pretty bad.
Yeah.
They're on the edge, so I guess just trying to do more damage to their opponents. The problem is, this round wasn't an investment from Guild, so no matter how much damage you did at the end, they still had to save finances from the last round to actually buy back up, and it will only be converted if they manage to win this one. The other terrifying prospect here is ults. Tour de Force online, that's coming in for free. Showstopper as well. And off the back of the information you can get for Nightfall, those 3 ults alone could be enough. And you can see that Fnatic's decision is, okay, they've got a lot to execute with. Let's not let them execute.
It's a good call, Tom. It's a good call. I love the breach these days. You never know what's going to be in his hands. Well, I know what's going to be in his head. A Vandal shot thanks to Alfier. Opening duel.
He's cleared the corner by the window.
Nobody behind the ledge. All good.
Almost there.
Oh, doors as well. Oh, we've got 1 second mid. Look at that huge info. And that's what it was all about, Tom.
Next level meta boombot lineup created by Boaster and Mini in the lab.
That's years hard work. Pull that one off.
40 seconds left though. And that's the thing, that disruption alone has wasted so much time. Smoke's even being thrown in, trying to just find out any information they can by just throwing utility in towards the garage, but there's currently absolutely no one there. And no matter what direction they currently go in, unless they pressure the A site, which, well, doesn't even look like it's within the cards, they're going to be walking into a fair amount of players. TP into the back of C will spot one, but now they're facing in instead onto Alpha here. There's just no time for them to get anything done here, and this man is just cleaning things up. Enzo, okay, you'll get one, but the round's already over, and Codamenta once again is forced to save.
I think they've done sub 40 damage that round over on Guild, so I'm not surprised Codamenta doesn't decide to run in and go for the 1v5. 4-2 is look, it's a tough enough spot if you're Guild coming into this with no cash. I mean, the decision at this point. Oh, the nade forced him forward as well. I was just watching that. So your nade goes through. Leo has to jump in through the doors, and he gets caught by 100's Fury. Didn't see anyone, and he got killed. What a poor man. This is it though, Tom. Look, all the money in play for Guild. To put it all on the line, showstopper to work with as well, so some good opportunities for them.
Look how passive Safe is holding. He knows that there's utility coming. He's like, I will not fall for this again. There was just in case there was a stun, he was sat all the way back. There was a deep smoke. He was just hoping that someone would swing him, and instead, it's just too regimented on the other side. And that's it, though. That's the thing. Almost the fear of the possibility of someone pushing that is enough for them to give it up. There is now no one on A side of the map.
Face your fear!
And Guild are going to commit everything to the other. Now, luckily, FNATIC can play retake here. They could TP out, but Boaster ran right back in. Durka's got the close angle. Oh. He's managed to find two already. Canceling out any sort of teleportation, but it's a little too much. Players have closed the season spawn, and now they're going to have to just play this one for the retake, it looks like.
Yeah, and the problem is FNATIC have the Rolling Thunder, so playing for the retake has risks of its own. They're already going to spot one player aggressive, but I don't know if they'll expect the second. Leo almost uses his teammate as bait, and that bait is enough to get them the kill for free. Now Alpha is the only one remaining. All players around the garage area is not an expected way to have to try and fight back in, and Safe actually has a TP ready to reposition back in towards long. No way to get this defused. Needs some pretty ridiculous headshots, and they even know exactly where he is at this point, so no chance of finding anything from this spot.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say this round is done and dusted. Alpha will be shut down by Codamenta to guarantee a third for Guild. Get them the round that they so desperately needed. I'm gonna say, you know, we said about the previous map, Guild's fakes not great. They tended to run into stacks a whole lot more often than I think you'd like to, but this time around, they got 3 players from FNATIC on that A site. They see the contact and they make the decision pretty quickly. Managed to isolate those weaknesses. I'm liking this attack side so far. I mean, look, we're not surprised to see Guild have a good haven up their sleeves. But they've now gotten to the point where if they win this, FNATIC have no money, and it's almost deja vu of the previous map where Guild go 5-4. That's if they can find this one here. FNATIC putting up a fight early, happy to get aggressive around garage, around mid, but then they're going to give up that control. I wonder if that's just to slow Guild's play down. Boaster's gone all the way down here. Has his ult if he gets 1 kill at least.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this is just going to almost be off contact with Durka as well. But more passive than before. The thing is, they still have a lot of information. The only place that is really open at the moment is B. And I think that's mainly just off the fact there hasn't been much pressure in that direction of the map thus far. The extremities have been worked quite regularly from Guild. And they're seriously worried that FNATIC are aggressive somewhere. They've just used their horde to clear close mid in case Alphire's there again.
Boaster, he'd been sat there for so long and finally decides to go aggressive. Durka playing on his trap. He's got the TP to go back, but no one's coming towards him except for Mystic. Is rotated onto the C site. That's going to make this so much weaker towards the A side of the map. And FNATIC probably hearing the steps just about. We're hearing one of the steps, excuse me, and then the player that went into the corner. I think Alpha would have been close enough either way. They know for sure now that it's an A take. Either way, it's way too late for them to do anything about it. That nade. It's forced us into the open. If they had killed him on the cross, it could have been huge.
Now it does look kind of done, though. Raining, a couple of players trying to come in on the flank. They need Kodamenta dead immediately, and well, not the case at all. They've even heard the steps of Durka, and I think he's made the realization that just trying to hold them in and make this a bit more costly will be far more valuable. You're going to try and almost fake this TP back into the corner? I don't know how well that would have worked out, but we'll never really know. And well, now Alpha just has to try and escape from the spike, but they're looking to lock him in. They know that the finances of FNATIC are not good whatsoever. But hey, killing him seems a little easier said than done.
Yep, not even the spike's going to be able to manage that. He's already safely towards the other side of the map. 4-4. Guild have tied this up. One weapon saved. I don't know is going to be the biggest of difference makers in this one. The showstopper, though. They didn't use it up. It puts them in a position to maybe fight back into this one. Gotta say, Guild finding the space, though. They're able to carve out that control, like we said. As soon as they spot it, they move into the A site. And it's interesting as well that, I guess, FNATIC had Boaster push down C long. They still have their 2 players. If he manages to clear that or get into the corner, they're stacked up A. They're ready for it. But with them going down, the round just went wild. And they just lose so much info.
The thing that I think if you take the parallels of this map and the last map, I think Guild are really, especially Kodamenta, is excellent at reading how people play Haven. And I think that's why they're one of the best at it, because a lot of the time, like, they struggled early versus the aggression. Now they're using a lot of their utility earlier to try and force out players from FNATIC. So, okay, there's no one in mid. We know that's clear. Where we can challenge long later on if we desire, but a lot of the time they're going to give that up after some time. So they were patient until what, like 30, 35 second mark? Then they get that pick, instantly switch back over to take control of the A side. That's just a great read on what your opponent's going to be doing, because if you run into a site and there's 2 people there, with the amount of time that was left, they probably lose. But they got the call bang on.
The read was made. At 4-4, we see FNATIC decide to go into a decent investment. They're going to put it on the line here with an operator in play for Durka.
As if you're staying.
Catches him. And just gets the goddamn kill.
The thing is, if they actually pushed him there, he either had to no-scope or quick switch back to his pistol again. It's just like, but he had no doubt in his mind. He's like, well, they're not going to swing this wide. And if they do, I'll just leave.
Oh, 2 kills for Guild. They have just overrun the site completely. Mystic, how has that not seen him? That is an absolute travesty. I don't know how they didn't manage to spot him, and Mystic is going half.
Oh my
He's
God.
got a third for his trouble. Up to the Vandal. A flash going out, and here's the whole team swinging. Mystic on a 4K. And it all comes off the back of one piece of utility that, frankly, Tom, I have no idea what happened there. That should have seen him, and they have just been robbed over on Guild.
Yeah, I feel like the smoke screwed it up somehow.
It must have.
Just so it just didn't see him dead on and just went slightly past. I don't know,
man.
but you gotta feel hard done by. I also want to say for the 3rd kill, if someone just edits out those first 2 shots, you know, just edit those out. Just have the one tap. You got a really nice highlight there. But this is the thing. We've mentioned this in the recent weeks about Mystic and just his impact. Like, he probably won't top the board. He is right now, but he probably won't. You got players like Durka and Althea. But in rounds where FNATIC really need one, Mystic's your man.
Oh, this has just been a strange round. 4 ults online now for FNATIC on that defensive side. I just can't believe they won that previous. Guild have got to be heartbroken. They've got to be scratching their heads about timing. Like, how the hell did he get through that smoke without making a sound? In their mind, At least I'm sure they'll be even more devastated when they watch it back.
Yeah. Oh, BS was the answer. Nice. Thanks, guys.
Guys, was he playing a Neon there real quick? Like what? we get all the way there.
The Omen Shadow Step. Nope, wrong agent again. Oh, it's a risky game. They actually delayed the stun a little bit so that they can push off the back of contact. Durka, he's going straight back in for a reposition. Safe managed to dodge him the first time, but then takes the hit the second time. Aftershock has also stopped them from pushing back through. This is all about delay. Counter-util after counter-util, and now going in with the showstop. It just completely whiffs. It's absolutely nobody. The trade has come in onto Mystic anyway, but the shot dart lands a nasty shot onto Boaster. It seems like he's trying to bring back a round of his own. Russ has now found another and has his own Rolling Thunder just to guarantee them the plant.
Oh, they've got that locked in now. Surely no way to show stopper of Alpha here, and it's got him! Trex is down, 10 seconds left. They need a plan right now. A blast pack in, it stopped them for another second, another, and that's it! It's done off of utility. Alpha Air doesn't even need to shoot the last player, and he's won the round. 6-4 for FNATIC. And he'll even take Cold Amanda down. Insult to injury. Oh my.
Won the round with blast packs! Who has 2 blast packs on Raze with 5 seconds left? Who does that?
30 seconds left.
Kid's a maniac! And the worst thing is Cold Amanda repositions guy. Well, you never know, maybe he has another one. Who plays Raze and literally with 8 seconds left is like, I will keep my blast packs for this exact moment. It's just mad.
Absolute lunatic. Wow. Well, FNATIC have won 2 complete BS rounds back to back. And I feel like at this stage, Guild, they'll lose this round just, I mean, even with Boaster backside, you know? I feel like anything can fall apart for them. But look, they're in a 3v3. They've got a nade still to play with. Plant is well secured. A little bit of a tickle off on Cold Amanda, but nothing he's going to be too worried about. And it looks like a good post plant to play with here, Tom.
Yeah.
They've heard him. You know he's here.
You'd think. Yeah, but hearing him and stopping him is a very different thing. In fact, he's actually going to completely rotate around. Safe now might have the drop on the rest of the players. Trex is still here. He's done so much damage already within the round, and what Durka has just ruined him. Sent him out of this one. The clear onto Cold Amanda has said knowing where Durka is and killing him is a completely different thing, and now Safe his wraparound is still expected by FNATIC. They're going to hand over. You know, still thinking about the ults, of course. Want to get the Hunter's Fury for Enzo in the next round, but 7-4, yeah. I do genuinely feel at this point that we could easily see Guild in the lead. And instead, they're 7-4 down.
Yeah, that is very true, Tom. This, not only could we easily see Guild, we should easily see Guild in the lead. I said it was like deja vu of the previous map because they had to win a round and then it should, you know, all fall into place. They get their 5-4 and so on. They won the round, and well, here we are.
I'm still a little bit mad about the blast packs. I'm not gonna lie.
The blast packs was something else.
I like mad, Mystic, but it's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. If there's anyone who says, "Oh, does this guy not like how?" No, it is brilliant. I just don't understand how he has them still.
I'm sorry. The round before of Mystic running past, being spotted but not spotted somehow, taking down 4 players with a just Guardian.
Like, cool, bro. I'll let you off this time.
Like he goes in there, you know, I'm thinking if he gets 1, this is good. It gives them a chance to retake, and then he just doesn't stop. He just keeps going. I'm like, oh, you can go back now and set up for no. You can you can set up for the retake. No, oh, you've killed them all. Okay, cool. Well, that's FNATIC dominating this half so far in the scoreline, but not in the way it feels somehow.
That's a good spot.
And we now look for this 8th round. Saw an operator already. I think that's going to be sitting around somewhere for Durka. Yeah, it's Alpha Air that has it in his hands, actually. Durka going for some aggression.
Here.
Ready, Boaster. I was going to say, maybe in a little bit of trouble, but because Durka's just walked down and already killed off Cold Amanda, it's also one of the worst players you could lose this early on. No smokes made him. He's not stopped! They're just swinging on him! And instead, well, there's only the 2 players remaining within this C site. Trex desperately trying to get something done, and Russ has just said, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm sorry. Nothing I can do here. What a ridiculous round again. FNATIC's fast pace. You can see the confidence just, well, brewing off of this team at the moment. An 8-4 up, opponent's map choice, and now they go into the attack.
See, this is the thing. This map has been dominant for Guild, right? But when you think about this season, it was dominant against Mech when they were on shaky form. It was dominant against Big, who didn't look great, and they lost it in a narrow way to not beat. But this is a map that's good for Guild, but the group
I want to
effect,
caveat, the Na'Vi game was pointless.
It was
pointless. Let's be real.
Yes.
It was pointless.
It
made no
game.
difference to Guild, and they also completely memed the previous map. So I'm just going to exclude that one.
Yeah, but even still, take Na'Vi out, the wins, they're a good indication that this team knows the map. But again, it's about the level of the opponents that you're against. And as we've said, frankly, nobody matches what FNATIC bring to the table right now.
True.
We're seeing that with an 8-round first half. FNATIC, well, they've certainly carved themselves out a decent scoreline for the second to work with. The Pistols have been going their way as well, Tom. And if that happens this time, I am very scared for Guild. I mean, this defense can be good, but even now, it's going to have to be fantastic for them to get back in.
Yeah, no doubt about that. 3-man stack into Garage early. Now, I'm not sure this is something you can necessarily expect. I'm a little surprised that you don't have Safe as the one watching the cross. I feel like that makes a lot more sense with the gun that he's going to be holding. But hey, I guess they've managed to re-aggress elsewhere. Alpha, I don't even know how many nade kills he's got at this point. I've lost count. It's been quite a few. And while into a 3v3 after plant already, Leo narrowly dodging the stun. Bear in mind, he is on just 45 health.
FNATIC happy to run this clock down as much as possible, but Guild are now mounting their way back in. Leo might be low, but taking him down is a different story. Shock dart through, it's on its way, it's landed down. No one's on it though. Nade through, confirming the same thing. They've got extra time, but they're still fighting, Tom. And now it comes down to just Alpha Air, but okay! I was gonna say they were low, but never mind. Quick shot from Trex. Finally gets Guild that pistol and a leg in the door, a foot in the door. To keep this game, I guess, out of FNATIC's hands completely, but I'm still a little bit spooked. I want to see how things go moving into the next. There's always the possibility. We saw that Guild attack side forced by. I doubt we see it out of FNATIC here, though, especially with the lead.
Just the same as the last map, going into the defense. Safe has to be a different beast. Like, we saw it with Durka, exactly what he was able to do, with how aggressive he could be, with how much problems he could cause them. Safe is on 3 kills. Now, I will always be forgiving when it's an attack side player, because ultimately the only thing you've really got in your favor is the fact you can put a TP down and sort of run away. Like, it's not a great agent for that. Defense, though, is where he should shine.
Absolutely. Safe has a chance here. The 1v1 with Durka. Already landed himself a shot and fading back out. Guild posture themselves here. They've lost Safe, though. A quick shot from Alpha Air. Now the players look in this direction. They start to storm through. Coldamenta does well to find good shock dart. It's done huge damage. Russ and Trex very low. Durka down below. He's going to try to swing, but Trex manages to find him from on top. Secure a 6th round for Guild. Good damage done still, though, by FNATIC.
Yeah, and they invested next to nothing. This was an incredibly low buy for them. Like, I think you had a Sheriff onto Alpha here, but the rest of the players didn't even have much other than, of course, the Headhunter available. So 3 kills is absolutely fine. Now they come in with a full purchase. And on Guild side of things, you've either got to take that hard eco or try and force back into this one. And I don't think either option is a particularly good one right now. But
now
they've gone for neither.
Yeah. 10 seconds left. I'm not sure where it's going.
It's a mixed bag. I guess with how well Trex has been playing, you're almost just happy to give him that hero rifle. He could still buy into the next round. And I like, if anybody was going to be able to take over the round, at least from what we've seen so far in this map, it definitely is Trex.
Bot connection. Oh, good kill. Goldament down. So is Safe. Tempted to push the other side of the map after that initial frag. FNATIC not having to do too much work to get these Guild players to peak. It's not a surprise with the round that's in it. but 0 damage from the defensive side. So very tough round to even just get the value out of. Like you said, though, is anyone to step it up? It's Trex. He has 3 players just around the corner from him, but no idea what he's just about to deal with. And here they come. The drone is what's going to start it, and they're ready to punish. Enzo still goes down, though.
Yeah, it's almost a sacrifice worth it just to get rid of that rifle. What? How does Leo get that kill? Absolute nonsense, but, well, that's all she wrote. And with Durka earning enough kills in this round to get the tour de force, drop a rifle over, it's damage. It's a little bit. It's the bare minimum Guild would have hoped for, but it's not going to do anything to the finances of FNATIC.
I mean, having yourself a tour de force now, right away, in a round where Guild come in with rifles, it's just not a good look. Guild have allowed a lot of space to their opponents. They're behind on that scoreboard, and right now, at 9-6, this is a crucial round, which FNATIC come in much more heavily armed too.
They've not given Enzo a gun.
No, they haven't.
That's toxic.
Good lads.
Come on, guys.
Good lads.
3,500 credits on Boaster, 2,900 on Durka. He's also got a tour de force, and Enzo doesn't have a gun.
Oh, they're just trying to make sure that my pick for the bingo, Enzo getting an ace, doesn't come through. Leave him with a sheriff and make sure. Just sorry, mate. Your stats have been a bit too good recently. We saw that MVP vote. Not having it anymore.
You made the list. That's already too much.
Oh, they're on their way through.
Still left Durka just lurking. It's not going to get anything this time, but there is that showstopper. Being used to clear space. Still no, it's being used to take space. You can see them running all the way back. The man has managed to get himself all the way up, and that's the thing. He could almost fake this drop back down if they wanted to. And leave Boaster behind, but his position will be give up. He has to get aggressive around it. Well, it's not going to work.
The nade used to slow them down for just a moment as well, but now Guild, they're really starting to come swinging out of these angles. Alpha Yair, he's about to be dropped on from up above, blast packed and everything. Leaves it onto Enzo, and he's still only got a sheriff to work with. A 1v3. And I'm sure you would have liked the rifle there. Trex left on 7, but they will end up winning the round. Guild, the defuse, they've got 7.
Yeah, it almost seems like they were saving for this next one while also going for a full investment. It's definitely a little peculiar. Now, as I said, they can still buy into this one again. I guess they could buy into a lot of rounds if Enzo's just going to play a sheriff, but...
Full buy every round.
Yeah, he always has a full buy. As long as the loss bonus isn't minimum. But yeah, it's still going to have a few pieces missing. Of course, as I said, Durka can now just go for that tour de force. Almost got the Rolling Thunder, but there's some decent ults building up on the other side as well. Showstopper for Trex. As I said, he's been Mr. Impact thus far. Let's see what he can do this time.
Well, C long is just being held this whole time. We've seen Durka lurk towards mid. We've seen it around garage, but this time, a lot of pressure being made here. And they're going to try to pressure that C side into a peak, but so far, very, very patient play from Guild. I think they almost feel like they're being baited right now. They seem to have a very good read on what's going on.
It is patient. You think about how aggressive on the other side. Boaster, though, tries something a little audacious. Well, his teammate almost goes down as well. Afia is going to trade and give them a little bit of space. On the other side of things, though, they have to be careful. Durka waiting with that tour de force, but they seem fairly aware of his position.
The rotation back immediately. And like you said, Guild, they never gave them that peek out on C long. They never swung into Durka. These steps are being heard now safe. The solo holder of A has some support. Trex has just made it into the site. Now they've got to deal with safe. And as they try to, in comes Trex, swinging and dealing with every single player. That was beautiful from Guild. And I think their rotations around mid, realizing that the C fake was coming through, filling up the gaps and allowing for that extra little bit of space for Trex to run over to the A site. It was perfectly called there in the late round.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I think we're seeing the opposites of the way they like to play this defensive side. Like, Guild are more than happy to not only play retake, I think they have some excellent retake setups in this map, but also just not give anything away. Whereas FNATIC, they almost rely very heavily on players like Durka getting aggressive, taking map control. We saw it in multiple rounds where Enzo would solo hold on A and just make sure that that control is spotted. B would be left open quite regularly. Guild aren't doing that. They left... I think it was safe deep within A for the majority of the round. The furthest back he played was Heaven. And they were just patient. And they were very aware of any of these sort of cheeky, aggressive plays that could be made. And that's the problem, especially with Chamber on the attack. You don't give him a duel, he has to go running into an angle almost just as a wide swing. And sure, Durka's going to win that battle some of the time, but when you have players like Safe, who has had a quiet start, but I think, as said, it will build into this. And of course, Trex on the other side, that duel almost goes in their favor if they're waiting for it.
And, you know, Safe being on short as well, he'd heard those steps that got Trex to the site so much quicker. I think what's interesting about Guild is that they kind of do leave gaps, but they're very aware of them. Like, the B site was open for a bit. Trex rotated back to cover it when those players stopped making noise on C long. And because he's there to cover it, he's got the quicker rotation to A. They leave C long open for a whole round. They were content to play the retake on it. And just knowing what angles they're leaving exposed seems to give them a really good advantage in some of these fights. I like that they're trying to punish here, but it was an Omen. Poster's right out of there, but he almost goes down still.
Yeah, Prowler's used up just to try and lock down that A-site control, but it does mean they can bolster their defense elsewhere. Safe, a very aggressive position as always, and it's going to catch off the rotating Bolster. Leo as well, I think even while blind, has managed to find a pick, and although there's a plant here and at least an extra orb, I don't see any way that FNATIC win this round.
Again, comes down to the question of damage. Maybe if Dirk is about to have his ult, but now stuck in the site, he's taken down. Enzo's reloading, so that's, yep. No kill, barely any damage. A very convincing round for Guild. They get to build up some economy, and that's something that they haven't been able to do so far. I mean, even after this round, just take a look. Like, the money could have been a little bit shaky, but instead now they've got a comfortable bit of finances behind them, and at just the perfect time as they equalize things. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. At least for now, FNATIC are starting to look a little bit flat. Like, this has been 5 of the 6 rounds in this half going in one direction, and Guild, as said, starting to build up that economy, starting to get some decent ults online. Sure, they're there on the other side as well, but we haven't really seen them utilize so much thus far. I almost wonder if they're going to try and challenge a little bit more for that A control, just because they lost it so dominantly in the last round. The thing is, though, Guild on the other side have gone, okay, well, we have other ideas now.
Off your feet!
A Rolling Thunder on A site. And it looks like Guild are here just in time. They avoided the Rolling Thunder and now can maybe fill in some of that space. Flank is being watched. Leo's caught trying to fill into A, so now it's the flank that should find value, but they're heard. Enzo knows now there's at least one coming behind. He now knows 2. Those steps giving absolutely everything away. Good flash, and he's not going to be dealt with. Enzo locking it down with a double. Coldamenta tries to fight back, and he's dropped Durka, but well, Tom, 4 players left to take down, and one's right below him, confirming that he's still up above. This is, well, it's not going to go anywhere.
No, complete shutdown. And the thing is, I would say, after the last couple of rounds of Guild, basically, like, having some decent control taken elsewhere, like what they managed to do with A-Long, which was a lot of utility-based control, and then the round before that just being incredibly passive, I feel like this round was much more of what FNATIC wanted them to do, like pressuring into mid, Durka managing to win that opening duel, and then just having the Rolling Thunder to give them a 5v4 after plant. I think it was a lot easier for them. And obviously, a lot of that relies on Durka just hitting 2 instant headshots on players that are trying to push, but I feel like FNATIC have a lot of faith in him to do that.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to watch the replay of that.
You know you're going to have to. You know you're going to have to. And Tom, I'm already going to tell you it's going to be in half speed. Safe's being spotted. Good kill, though. Tour de force now. You see everybody slowing down, but there's a slow field blocking them from making their way out. But also, you don't want to go running into that weapon. Not too often you'll win that fight against Safe, and Coldamenta had the off angle on Enzo, swings out after initial contact, easy punish, and FNATIC now find themselves on the back foot. Oh, and moving towards the side of the map with his 3 players.
Yeah, they're set up for a retake as well. Like, the nastiest combo of ults just available in the Nightfall and the Rolling Thunder. You're just screwed. They know where you are. You're taking damage, or at least like temporary damage. You're stunned and you're blind. Like, just getting away with anything here for FNATIC should be impossible. And I almost wonder if they're just going to try and, just fight it out a little bit. But they've been spotted. It's been seen by Coldamenta. They can now look to try and make that space back in. I feel like Boaster almost has everything to do, and he's going to be seen. It's a free kill for Safe, and now the remaining 2 have, well, an impossible task.
Yeah, I mean, even with the slight delay that they can push, they need kills almost immediately to jump out. Gets the frags for Guild, and they've only got to deal with Alpha Air. No nade. One away from a showstopper, now has it active. This could get a little bit dangerous. There's a showstopper already. It's going through. It's not found anyone. Rolling Thunder to put him in an awkward spot, but the blast pack stops them from pushing. Now the time becomes an issue. Already halfway to fuse, but he's got the kill, and nade through now. And this is tough because I don't think he can stick it. Russ has got to deal with him, and he can. What? Alpha Air's gotten it done. An impossible task, or so we thought. But FNATIC, they end up with an 11th nonetheless. What is going on?
This kid's too good. This kid's too good. Like, I genuinely am lost for words of how they managed to win that. They actually used both the Nightfall and the Rolling Thunder separately to try and section him out. Stunned him back in this corner. They knew exactly where he was. He was still stunned. And that gives him the nade back. It's like his utility all came online at the exact perfect moment when he needed it. Guild have been left with egg on their face from that one, because that is a round you never should be losing.
Absolutely. A heartbreaker for Guild. At least they've got that money to fall back on. What they don't have is the C side. They've lost that one convincingly, although Alpha Air and now Mystic falling. Trex really is having a life game here. Putting it all on the line. 1 HP left on Boaster on the way back, 3, but, you know, close enough. He has completely abandoned the plant, and he is now stuck in that corner with the spike.
Yeah. He needs some help from his step bro, and unfortunately, it's not the person he's looking for on the other side. Leo already managing to clear out one. Durka's flank is just too little too late. Luckily, there's still a decent amount of time left within the clock. 45 seconds, and well, he's going to fight versus Trex. As we mentioned, these are the 2 players that have really been popping off, and well, neither going to end up winning that battle, a stalemate. The thing is, though, for Enzo, he does have his Hunter's Fury. I just don't know whether it's worth using it here just to try and clear some of the angles. The other thing as well is they could just push him, because he's got absolutely no support until, of course, Durka arrives.
And with Boaster down, can't smoke it on the other side, so it's all about raw duels. That's where Durka comes in. Post wing to start with, pre-firing, grabbing 1. Enzo's on another. Despite the trade, look, he might be able to get this plant down 10 seconds, but he's running the B, and Trex has read it like a book. Has a showstopper online, shouldn't even need it. Oh, he's got that just about. It's whether he thinks Trex is going to be close by already, and he certainly doesn't. A 4K coming out of Trex, saving the day for Guild.
Yeah, still too close for comfort. Like, that's the thing. Again, they look like they were in a scenario where you have the spike locked down, there's 20 seconds left. There shouldn't really be any avenue where they get a plant. But still, they managed to turn things around even without using the ult as well. So 11 to 10, Guild get it over the line. A lot of that is just down to the ability of Trex. Like, that's the thing. I feel like we've had Althea and Durka sort of save rounds that never should have been. Althea, especially the blast pack round and that clutch moments ago. But
right there,
he's been the one on the other side that's been able to step up.
Let's play.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very early aggression coming through. FNATIC blitz out onto A long, go through middle. They're looking for a lot of control. Trex is stood here waiting, though, and he has been unbelievable. Only the 1 kill for him this time, Tom. That is huge. They finally shut down the man who has been keeping Guild alive. Who's going to step it up to fill those boots now?
Well, Coldamenta's looking to try and make a play. Caught the timing nicely, but well, Enzo will rip his head clean off. feel like we still haven't seen anywhere near the best from Safe thus far, and by the looks of it, oh, this is threading the needle. Look at where Mystic is. He's expecting it, though. He's ready for it. Maybe this is the moment we can finally see from him. They're going to wrap back around. Instead, though, Boast is now taking control of the C side, so the rest of the team are going to go rotating in that direction. The thing that could win this is Leo. If he finds the kill onto Boast or finds a good timing, maybe there's a chance, or even drops the spike, but he's missed both, unfortunately.
Good enough for the info, though. He knows now they're going to come crossing, and Safe's going to run around to try and rally with him. No smokes on Garage.
30 seconds left.
The recon, not quite going to catch him. He could catch some timing on a swing. Right after it's gone, here he comes, and he's got the cross. No kill for him, though. And that's tough. Now, 3 players took down on long, and a tour de force to deal with on your way back through, Tom. Look at the agents that you've got.
Fury as well.
You Hunter's Fury to play with, no smokes. Wow. I'd say 2% chance Guild win this.
Yeah, they need to kill Durker instantly, and they almost need to go pushing, and he's playing a passive enough angle that's not going to be easy. Jump across will actually clear the position, and actually fighting this forward, while Leo has managed to get a kill. The problem is the player on the other side has died, and look at where Boaster is right now. Like, it's almost like he's the one that needs to defuse. He's just waiting and nodding up and down.
Perfect spray. As it's a loss for Guild. FNATIC only barely getting away with it, but they had the setup. They had the 3v2. It seemed almost impossible to lose. And to be honest, Tom, I think that 3v2 went close to as poorly as it could have. And they still ended up winning it convincingly. So
Leo managing to dodge the initial shot and then kill off both players is impressive. It's just the fact that ultimately the reason he's able to do that is because that Hunter's Fury got the kill. If it didn't, maybe there was a shot like in a 1v1, but it didn't matter once Senzo had found that. And on the other side, of course, they were just trying to get it to half. 12-10, a chance for FNATIC to get straight into the final. And of course, I think the news has been said that the team that wins, or the team that wins the entirety of EMEA, will skip a stage, or at least we think it is. So I honestly, it's huge for either team to get to that spot, especially for Guild. Like, think of it this way. Guild have never made it to an international LAN. If they get an instant lock-in of top 8, that'd be pretty good to start.
Oh, it certainly would. Yeah, it'll boost up those points for end of year as well. And this is a team right now that's is such a good spot. As we said, though, coming out of those groups, we had some questions. What happens when you come up against the best of the best? And right now, it seems like the answer to that, regardless of whether they win or lose this map, is they put up one hell of a good show. Despite some ridiculous rounds that they're losing, despite the previous map losing both pistols, losing a massive amount of early round with like bonuses and second round forces not going their way. Just something for Guild that I think they can definitely be happy with this performance. They're cementing themselves as a superpower within the EMEA system, but 2 behind that OT, and they need to push all the way. Weaker weapons, Bulldog, 2 Spectres. The showstopper on Trex hasn't been used for a while, and well, you're probably going to want to chuck it out in this round if the chance is given.
Yeah, wrong side of the map right now with where the pressure seems to be coming through. No ultimates currently available, although Mystic being one away definitely has its dangers for the team, but a risk of taking the orb might not necessarily be worth it when you have this inherent advantage kicking off the round. I am really liking, though, this lurk from Durker. To leave such a strong player to almost just sit behind and almost try and catch players as they push, like, the chance of him missing the shots is slim to none, and just makes it so difficult for Guild to actually find any information just in case they walk into him.
The nade's going through. Safe's not going to be blinded up by that. He turns just in time. A quick double. And FNATIC, well, they're on the back foot. Again, having to get into the side, grab a plant. Look, they should be able to do that without too much of an annoyance. Here comes a bit of utility that's making them weaker. Mystic now on 12 HP. He's going to run, and the nade catches him on the way out. Enzo alone, 1v3, and they are swinging as a unit, giving themselves no chance to lose that one. Guild need one more to push this up to an overtime.
Yeah, doing incredibly well just to play together. And the early aggression as well from both Safe and Coldamenta, just delaying enough for them to get this extra utility into deny. I like that combination. The early flash, you then have moments later the C's to hold them back. Nade even going through as well. Like, and then the remaining 3 just walking in as a firing squad. 12-11. And just look at the buy for FNATIC. Overtime looking almost likely at this stage, unless, again, somebody can step up for the team.
That stun at the start of the round, Guild wanted to push up on the back of it. Goldamenta decided to back off, though. I think they've seen a little bit, or heard a little bit of that noise, maybe. I'm not sure what the motivation is there, but they've stalled out the A aggression. And FNATIC are going to start taking space, coming down through A long, starting to move their way around, but really it's Durka that they're waiting for here. He's the man that has to try to find a little bit of space and annoy them around those rotations. Take the info out of their hands as he just did, destroying the trap on B.
Oh, that's one hell of a start, though. Both Alfia and Durka Boaster with another. It's looking like the beginning of the end for Guild here, as they just can't get anything done in this round. Leo left on his last legs, trying to run through in desperation. And well, the man that's been keeping them in it has everything to do, and it will not happen. FNATIC make their way straight to the grand final. And while Guild, they are not out of EMEA just yet, they can still fight their way through that lower bracket.
Yeah, of course, still having their slot booked. It's not going to be any tears shed on that side. But for FNATIC now, one step closer to taking that top spot, to taking #1 here and potentially skipping a stage, getting so much more time to work on, well, on this beautiful Valorant that we're seeing, Tom. And to be honest, I think the last thing that FNATIC need right now is more time. So teams are going to be vying to take that out of their hands for sure.
Well, we can, of course, have a little look at the players of the match. And I don't know, I feel like this week it was almost a little more cemented. I think that Durka and Alfia, incredible performances throughout, but Mystic's impact as always. I think he was almost robbed a little bit in last week's poll for not actually getting in. And he's proven again why he is someone that I think, especially on the Initiator, has been playing fantastically well. I will admit, Mitch, I don't think he's winning this week.
No, man, even after that incredible clutch on the way back through, I don't think he's going to get that W. Just too much
Did he
coming
win
out
one with
of
blast
those,
packs, though? Did he win one with blast packs?
You know what the best part is? I think it was Lothar that got the bingo of Alfia and Durka having 350 ACS in the same game, and he was pretty close on this one. Yeah, he's got to be feeling confident. If this is well, let's hope it's not the best for him, at least. It'll be a little bit more convincing. But Tom, look, we're going to toss things off to a break. When we come back, the analyst desk is going to let the folks at home know who won that player of the match at ValleySports_EMEA. Get your vote in during this break. We'll see you soon.
It was a hard-fought series for FNATIC. They pulled through in the end, and I'm going to bring you guys a quick post-match interview with their star player, Durka. Hi, Durka. Welcome back to the show. Congratulations. I know you have a couple of friends on Guild. You really wanted to face them today, but did you expect everything to be super close the way it was?
Hey, thanks for inviting me here. Yeah, I wanted to play a Guild for a long time now, and I kind of expected like close fight. So yeah, because the top group, the Group B, so I thought it's gonna be a good fight, and I was waiting for it.
Yeah, it was a great fight towards the end. I want to talk to you a little bit about what happened on Bind, especially on your defense. It was a little bit uncharacteristic. We saw a couple of mistakes. Maybe you guys as a team were pushing a little bit too much. Talk me through what happened and how did you guys turn it around in the second half?
We just had communication errors. We overpeaked sometimes or didn't play together. So it was kind of like hard for us at the start, but I think we bounced back and got like the 6-6 or 5-7. I don't even remember the half, yeah. And then like on attack, we just did our strats, what Boaster called, and we listened to him, and it was like easy because we like had the reads.
I mean, he's only got 2 strats, right? Durka go kill and Alpha go kill. We all know that. Yeah. When it comes to the compositions that Guild were running, how much did it throw you guys off? Because I know you're a heavy prep team. You love a bit of anti-stratting. But they were whipping out the Chamber and the Fade today, which is quite new. So how did you deal with that?
Oh, yeah. We prepped for different comps. And when they changed it, we were like kind of like, oh, this is easier. We already knew what we expect, or like what we can throw off from our like anti-strats, and we were like, okay, this is going to be a bit easier. They cannot do this, and like it was even easier for us, honestly.
Well, lastly, before I let you go, this is your first grand final since that grand final back at EMEA Challengers last year, just before Reykjavik. That was when you first came into the roster, fresh-faced, but now you're part of the core team and you've been doing super, super well. Talk me through how pleased you are with the improvements you've been able to make even since then.
I think we improved a lot, and with the addition of Enzo and Alfair, we got firepower and more discipline. So I think we'll take this grand final. Like, I think we'll take it. Sorry for the 3 teams that are battling in the lower bracket right now, but I think we're just like really on top of EMEA region, and I think we can get it easily now.
I love that. I love that attitude. Thank you so much, Dirk, for joining me, and we'll see you here on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think that counts as a trash talk during an interview.
Another region, Sue.
Was it
another region?
Oh, it was another region.
Well, he's trash talking our region. That counts.
So I mean, you're not native. That's fine. But another means a different. Yeah, you know. But I think it is nice to see that he's kind of bantery towards it. But it still felt a lot like, you know. It's not the full confidence Fnatic. Do you see what I mean? He was very chill about it.
But it was easier after seeing the changes.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear because that makes me think when he says it's easier, that means that they expect Guild to play exactly how Fnatic kind of shaped the metagame to be used, and they know how to counter it, right? At least that would be my assumption here.
Oh, the ACS was so close, Sesh. They were so close, but you needed 350 on both players. Just missed out there.
I mean, you know, you simply cannot trust Alpha and Dirk when it comes to kills, right? Absolutely, absolutely. No, it was their show to a certain extent, right? It doesn't only rely on that for certain, but it felt very much like this was exactly the satisfying performance you want from them. My personal highlight, if you would have to go for a personal highlight, just from an individual basis, not a team basis, is not only what Alpha did, but how calm he was. That one, the second half, was remarkable in some of those plays.
It's kind of, you know what, Alpha and Leo, very similar players in my eyes when it comes to approach to the game while being smart about it. You know, and it's something that I like to praise because Alpha's ability to use satchels to both affect attack and defense to the same degree makes his kit as a raise way more useful than any other raise that we have seen so far in EMEA. We had seen like exactly this, satchels stopping someone from planting, right? But not only that, whenever Alpha is being put in a position where he's in danger, he's gonna put in the satchel and just leave it there. Yeah. So it explodes after 2 seconds to make sure that someone who is pushing him is gonna be just bopped, right? And then the cross placement is all over the place.
Raze is a controller, confirmed.
Oh, exactly this one, right?
Yeah, it was wonderful how
he's a controller. He's got the Astra Stark in post plants. He's literally a controller.
I see what you mean. Yeah, sort of. It felt very complete. And once more, I think this is what we got to highlight. This is a 17-year-old kid who has not played on an international team before, does not have tier 1 experience, and he's performing that. So there's 2 options. Alpha is basically the I don't know, the Michael Schumacher of Valorant.
Here we go.
Or alternatively
Oliver Kahn.
Good one. He's not from Karlsruhe. Or alternatively, Fnatic is just very brilliant at, you know, making new talent shine.
Yeah, they do indeed. And I know Dirk in that interview, he was like, I wanted to play against Guild. I think one of the players that he's said in quite a few interviews in the past is Safe. Those two, they're very good friends off the server. They want to go up against each other. And I think there was a bit of a chamber diff today.
Well, in overall, let's say, scores, yes. But Safe did diff Chamber in Dirk in 1v1s twice when he was, you know, jumping through. Wait, that was Alpha. Was it Dirk? Dirk was on bind on Raze, right? So Safe sniped him out of there twice there. So I was like, But overall, Safe on Haven was just not hitting his shots, you know?
Yeah, they won indeed. And Lothar, I know that you're going to prep for something for us on the telestrator over there as well.
Well,
go ahead.
Yes, I do have something that I wanted to showcase actually in the previous telestrator segment, but of course I couldn't find my clip. But first, clip from Haven, which is a very similar one, and it's Boaster essentially baiting for his teammate. Look at the position of Boaster, like how he just runs through to Enzo, and Enzo wide swings. What this achieves is Coldamenta's crosser placement is all over the place because look, he's in between now Boaster's position and Enzo's position, and that's great because Enzo exactly knows what to do after Boaster just runs to him, because if both players essentially wide swing, then the crosser placement is completely disjointed, right? And we have seen the same example on this clip. This is from Bind, so I just wanted to show it how it would work here, because in this case, Russ just gets completely dismantled because he has no clue how to affect two players at a different sides of the map. And one thing at the end, this is just an execute on A side that won the map. The Breach ultimate that goes and just essentially gives both a free kill on Coldamenta on top of site, gives them the ability to create space on CT as well, and the one player that is playing on backside of the site here is pushed out into the open, under the drone. I'm gonna try to rewind here, because the player that dies in this spot here is essentially pushed out by the ultimate into the open, so he has to swing into a player that is ready for him. It's so just well thought out, you know, that's about it.
I feel like you just summed up FNATIC. Just well thought out. That's about it. And speaking of being well thought out, player of the match today, I think no surprises here whatsoever, goes to the youngling Alpha, 17-year-old. I can't even count how many times he's been player of the match, but well deserved.
Absolutely. I mean, again, for me, it's not only how good you are individually, how calm you remain in such stress situations, right? And those were situations where he had no support. He done it on it all. Perfect showing.
Yeah, and this changes the bracket a little bit. FNATIC, they moved to their first grand final in over a year. They're going to be secured in that spot. As Durka said, the other three teams, they have to fight it out now. But more importantly, in our second matchup of today, of Mech versus FPX, this is a qualification game.